The Belmont Derby spoiler, Henley's Joy, a third of the way home in New York's Turf Trinity. Can he take the next step? We'll find out in about an hour and 15 minutes. His owner is here, former jockey Jeff Bloom, in from California. Unfortunately for Bloom, Chad Brown is here as well. Saratoga's leading trainer unleashing two colts in today's main event. Morning line favorite Rock Emperor, third in the Belmont Derby, deep closing Irish colt, and Digital Age defeated for the first time in the Belmont Derby. How will he respond in the Saratoga Derby? Saratoga Live is brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. If we could bottle up today's weather, just save it through September, fine by me. Pristine conditions in Saratoga Springs, New York. Winding down week 4 at the Spa. Big crowd, enthusiastic crowd for this Saratoga Derby Sunday. In the paddock, alongside 2015 NHC Tour champion Jonathan Kinchin, I'm Lafitte Pinkai. We could literally spend the entire afternoon unpacking yesterday's races and the Whitney and all the graded stakes activity. But with the Saratoga Derby, it's $1 million event. The first running, Jonathan, the question is, Henley's Joy, can he take the next step towards the Turf Trinity?
Yeah, of course he could take the next step. I think the biggest concern is as a wagerer, is he going to be a good bet? Right? He was a huge price last time. He's 4-1 this time. He'll take a lot of money since he won that first leg. But he's dangerous. He's down on the inside. He should save ground on both turns. And I think Mike Maker is a phenomenal trainer, and Henley's Joy is a good horse.
So are you thinking the Belmont Derby was more of a fluke at 20-1 or a sign of things to come? Jeff Bloom, his owner, says he is the most unluckiest horse he's ever owned, and that's what he's capable of when he has a sanitary clean trip.
You nailed it. I think he's great. I think he's a really good horse. I think he was very unlucky in the beginning of his 3-year-old year, and I think the stretch out and the fact that, you know, like I said, Mike Maker, I think, is one of the best trainers at stretching horses out, and so when he stretched out, got a better trip, he got the job done.
Saratoga Derby, race number 9, post time 5:48 Eastern on FS1. Of course, this is the first Turf Trinity. 3 races for 3-year-olds, same distances as the Triple Crown. Each race worth $1 million. The schedule, it was Stars and Stripes Day when Henley's Joy shocked in the Belmont Derby. Later today, Saratoga Derby. And should Henley's Joy win, a shot at the Turf Trinity is next. Jockey Club Derby, September 7th at Belmont Park. Field for today's Saratoga Derby. So there were 14 in the Belmont Derby, 11 signed on today. Henley's Joy, good post, drawn inside 4-1. Rock Emperor, post 4, morning line favorite at 7-2. Cue the animated aggravated horse. Weather track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Saratoga Racecourse. Piranha on, pest gone, currently 80 degrees. The main track is fast. Turf courses are firm. He got his Piranha and he smiled. You see that?
You know, when I saw that graphic, it reminds me of how Andy looks at me sometimes when we're sitting on the set next to each other. He gives me that little look and then a little smile.
The aggravated look or the smile? Little of both. Today's schedule. So, yeah, follow us here. 6th and 7th races can be seen right here on FS2. 8th race and the Saratoga Derby FS1, the Adirondack and the Nightcap on the Naira Bets app. So here it is, a first, this Saratoga Derby, the middle jewel of the Turf Trinity. You have a field of 11 running a mile and 3/16, chasing the winner's share of $1 million purse. Let's meet the contenders with Greg Wolf.
An action-packed Whitney weekend comes to a close with the inaugural running of the Saratoga Derby. Consider it the Preakness on grass, with the country's best Turf 3-year-olds competing in the middle jewel of the newly created Turf Trinity Series. 20-1 Belmont Derby upset winner Henley's Joy looks to stay on track for the series sweep in the $3 million triple.
And Henley's Joy wins the Belmont Derby.
But a fresh field of challengers is ready to spoil his bid. A $1 million race on the grass? Of course, reigning 3-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer Chad Brown is in the mix. His Rock Emperor competed with the best in the French Derby and showed promise in his state's debut, coming from last to get up for 3rd in the Belmont Derby. Can Digital Age restore his reputation after suffering his first defeat? He was 3 for 3, including a Grade 2 score in the American Turf at Churchill Downs prior to his Belmont Derby run. It is far from a domestic affair, Arguably the best trainer in the world, Aidan O'Brien, plans to crash the party with a pair of contenders, including another go for the beautifully bred Cape of Good Hope, brother of Breeders' Cup champion Highland Reel, and group winner in both England and Ireland, Mohawk, who makes his state's debut off a dominant win at Leopardstown.
Mohawk out in front will win the male stakes for Aidan and Donegal O'Brien.
Speaking of highly decorated trainers, 7-time Eclipse Award winner Todd Pletcher had to be pleased with Social Paranoia's Belmont Derby finish. The 16-to-1 shot looked briefly like a winner in the early stretch, instead settling for runner-up honors. Can Henley's Joy stay on track for a turf triple? Or will a new face rise to the occasion? With the top 5 finishers back from round 1 and 4 fresh faces, all graded stakes winners thrown in the mix, we're in store for a thriller.
Thriller indeed. Big field, talented field for the first ever Saratoga Derby. So just like in the Saratoga Oaks, as Greg Wolf mentioned, Coolmore, Aidan O'Brien, they're running a pair. Earlier today, Acacia Courtney back at quarantine with an update on the O'Brien runners.
The inaugural running of the Saratoga Derby has attracted international attention, with trainer Aidan O'Brien heralded as one of the greatest trainers in the world, shipping 2 horses over in Cape of Good Hope and Mohawk. It's not an easy travel coming from Aidan's Ballydoyle Training Center state-of-the-art facility in Ireland. They fly over here to the United States, travel to Saratoga Racecourse, where they then have to clear quarantine before going into this isolation barn, which is about a 20-minute walk to the paddock here at Saratoga. Horses shipped in early, both got a chance to stretch their legs and get acclimated to the track here at Saratoga. Now, trainer Aidan O'Brien has shipped a lot of horses over to the United States and had great success, but he is 0 for 6 here at Saratoga. Did run second on Friday in the Saratoga Oaks with Happen, and we'll see if today he'll get his first Saratoga victory.
That is so hard to believe. I don't know what's harder to believe. The fact that he's only run 6 horses at Saratoga, or still looking for his first victory at the Spa, all-world trainer Aidan O'Brien.
I think the reasons are actually pretty simple, right? It's the Secretariat at Arlington Park and the Million at Arlington Park. So, and the Beverly D as well. So it's like if you're going to run in those Grade 1 races with, before the turf triple was invented, it made more sense. But now it makes more sense to check out Saratoga.
So those are the O'Brien runners. And then you have Chad Brown, who has the morning line favorite in Rock Emperor. And for Hall of Fame jockey John Velasquez, this is not an easy assignment. You're talking about a big field. He's a closer. Traffic can always be an issue. Maggie with the Hall of Fame jockey earlier today.
John Velasquez aboard Rock Emperor today in the Saratoga Derby, and you rode him last time out in the Belmont Derby, Johnny. First start in America, you had that dreaded outside post, but really you gave him as best a chance and trip as he possibly could. Talk a little bit about what he gave you and that quick burst of speed that he had down the lane.
You know, like you said, we had such a bad post, and he didn't break as good as I wanted to. So like what I do was just drop him back and try to save the best ground I could. And by the time we got to the backstretch, one of the horses, the Javier Castellano was on, got hurt, so I had to kind of take him back even farther back and go back to the inside. And I waited until the quarter point. The quarter point pulled him out, and he gave me a huge run down the lane. So, I mean, he seems like he needs a little more distance. Unfortunately, we're going 16 miles shorter than last time, but hopefully he breaks better today and get a better position going to that first turn and see where we do.
Johnny, do you think, given where the first 2 finishers were kind of sitting right behind the pace, if you had a closer trip, would you have been able to beat them?
Absolutely. I mean, no doubt. The way he closed down the lane, no doubt. And even with the incident in the backstretch, like I said, I had to kind of stop him and take him back again and and go back to the inside. So it was one of those trips that it wasn't as smooth as we wanted it to, and he still ran really well. So I'm hoping that he can redo that again. But in this time, finish in front of the other horses.
That's always the goal. Now, Johnny, he isn't the biggest horse. He's actually fairly compact, a lot of substance to him. The turns are tighter here at Saratoga. Does that help him?
I believe so. I mean, he seems like he handled it really well at Belmont, so I don't think it's going to hurt him here, though.
All right, Johnny, well, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff from the Hall of Famer John Velasquez, and it all goes down later today in the $1 million Saratoga Derby. We saw Concrete Rose was able to advance her chase for a triple tiara. Can Henley's Joy do the same in the Turf Trinity Saratoga Derby Invitational, post time 5:48 Eastern on FS1. And when we come back, jockey trainer standings. What does Jose Ortiz's lead look like after his brother's monster week? As for the defending trainer champ, it's been more the same at the Spa for Chad Brown. Stay tuned. You're watching Saratoga Live on this first ever Saratoga Derby Sunday. We'll be right back.
What I like best about Runhappy is his looks, his conformation, and just how much grit and fight Runhappy really had. And you just look for it, and hopefully in his offspring as well. This yearling is really your classic two-turn looking yearling. He's always out there. He's got his ears pricked. He's running. He's the fastest one I saw, and that Runhappy boy is something else.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Storylines we've been following.
It's going to be a star-studded lineup.
They're not going to beat her.
Wouldn't spend $1 on her.
And we haven't gotten any argument yet. Find yourself in the winner's circle here. It's the greatest feeling on earth.
Saratoga Live has you covered every race day, all summer long. There are a million reasons to play Saratoga, but Naira Bets customers have a million more. Naira Bets customers can earn a $1 million single ticket bonus on the Late Pick 5 at Saratoga. Join Naira Bets to play the Late Pick 5 today. Visit NairaBets.com for details.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm Stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, where our coverage is brought to you in part by Runhappy, the 2015 Eclipse Award-winning sprinter. Race medication-free and stands for $25,000 at Claiborne Farm.
The Runhappies that we've seen, they physically are fitting the bill, and I think that's going to translate in the auction ring.
The Runhappy marketing campaign has been second to none. I mean, they've come up with some incredible things, and there's a $100,000 bonus. Not everybody wants to win a maiden race at Saratoga or Del Mar, but the thought of a $100,000 bonus for doing it is amazing. And I think it's a very, very smart marketing tool, and I really like it a lot. And it's on top of it, they're good horses. I mean, they're very good-looking horses. So you're buying a horse that you really want to have, and you have a shot at getting a $100,000 bonus on top. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for? Runhappy. You see him at Claiborne in that famed #1 stall where so many of the greats have occupied. Runhappy still looks tremendous. And, Jonathan, it's going to be very interesting to see how his offspring does. We're on the eve of the sale here at Saratoga. You're hearing rave reviews in terms of those who have observed the offspring and how they'll do at the sale over the next couple days.
There are so many things to like about him as a racehorse. You'd imagine that people are going to be really excited to see how his offspring run on the track. And I think the bonus is going to be really interesting. I'm excited to get to the sale tomorrow and see, if people are going to be going a little bit higher, maybe an extra $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 than they would have because of the bonus.
Walker Hancock joining us later on the show. You see the rider standings winding down week 4. 2 more wins for Jose Ortiz yesterday, doing more damage today. Brother Irad, Jonathan, did not win a race on the Saturday program. Very hard to believe the way he's been going. Trainer standings, as you look at Jose Ortiz there. But, yeah, so Irad had that big week. But still, Jose, at the end of this week 4, clear for the time being.
The most important and the most impressive thing about all of that is that Jose missed a day when he went to Delaware to ride a late. So he missed a day. He still got a 6-win lead. I hope those guys continue to win. It'll be so much fun down the stretch with those 2 banging heads.
Yeah, Jose went to Delaware, won, 4 stakes races on that Saturday afternoon. Trainer standings, Bill Mott, Todd Pletcher, Linda Rice, Jason Service, Jonathan, having very good meets, but Chad Brown has already started nearly 80 runners and won 15 of them. 17 of them now.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, look, when you're trying to win the trading title here, you're actually just running for second. Chad's going to win. But if you can get second, I think that's probably something you could be real proud of.
Owner standings, last year's leading owner, Klarovich Stables, out in front with 6 wins. Michael Dubb, Mike Rapoli. How about Michael and Michaela Sisk with 4 wins from just the 7 starters, including 2 stakes wins. My Racehorse owner standings, where fans become owners. Please visit myracehorse.com to get started.
So My Racehorse is basically racehorse ownership for everyone. We basically have recently worked with the state and federal regulators to be able to sell racehorses online for microshares. And so anybody can join really good quality racehorses for as little as $100.
I've always been into horse racing, and it was a way for me to get into it at an ownership level where you don't have the high price point that you normally have in other ownership groups. So the idea of being able to buy micro shares, buy as much as you want, and also to be able to buy into a few different horses and not just have everything in on one horse.
MyRacehorse.com, where fans become owners. Make sure and visit MyRacehorse.com to get started. Field for the 6th year at Saratoga. Take a look at the wagering, what that looks like early on. $25,000 state-bred claimers. It is wide open. Scratch number 7, O'Shea. Can you see, Jonathan? A summer bourbon, the tepid choice early on at 3-1 with about 8 minutes to go.
This is a kind of a wide-open board right now. I actually don't like Summer Bourbon, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Has been working with another horse in the morning that is about 20 points slower than these, and that horse was out working Summer Bourbon, so you could probably look elsewhere for some value.
Yeah, and you look at the Caretaker, who is 7-2, and the question is, will the class drop be enough for this Chester and Mary Broman 5-year-old to earn his first victory of the year?
This one can absolutely win. I just worry about the post a little bit. If he was drawn outside, I could get a little bit more into it. But he's going to be down inside. He's going to get pressure. You know, I don't think that there's like a dead rail, but I don't think you want to be down inside. And if you have any questions about that, watch the head-on of McKinsey's race where Mike Smith had him in the 7 path. Yep. I think Mike knows what he's doing when it comes to that type of stuff. So, you know, the Caretaker can win, but I don't like him down there at a short price.
Done some of his best running here at Saratoga, 2 for 3 and 11 race program. So the Pick 6, the Empire 6, starts here with a $20 minimum bet, 20% takeout, jackpot style wager. I think unique, the takeout, the payout, 100% of the net pool. It all gets started in 17 minutes, this Empire 6.
The Empire 6 actually is going to start on Wednesday. The
on
mandatory,
Wednesday.
There's
on
a
Wednesday.
mandatory today. Yeah, $2
Jumped
today.
Jump.
There you go.
Wednesday.
Don't cheat me on the $2 one. I got a nice
ticket. It says right
here.
there, beginning Wednesday, August 7th. Empire 6 on Wednesday here at Saratoga. Okay, but what about your ticket and the mandatory payout?
Let's try to make some money here, Lafitte. Let's go. We're going to use the 4 and the 6 here. Obviously, if you have a bigger bankroll, you can spread in this race, but I wanted to be a little bit skinnier here because I have the opportunity to play the pick 5 if it doesn't work out. I just needed the 1 and the 2 and the turf allowance in the 7th. 2, 8, 10, and 13. I spread there, not a strong opinion. The 10 horse is interesting, trying turf for the first time for Chad Brown in race 8. Race 9 is the Saratoga Derby. Rock Emperor, Kadar, Digital Age, and Mohawk. Mohawk has a really fast time for him, U.S. figure. I threw him in there at a big price, even though Aiden hasn't done well here at Saratoga. Frank's Rockette, Magic Dance, the half to Coaching Club American Oaks winner Guarana, running in the Adirondack. And then a single in Chad. It's a universal good thing. When you come up here to Saratoga, you're out for dinner, you're out for drinks, and you're hearing about horses. This is one I've been hearing about for about 3 weeks now.
Best of luck with your ticket. Don't forget, you have the Empire 6 on Wednesday. You have to wait, Jonathan. Let's take a look at number 8, Tribeca. Hasn't raced in 3 months, and his last race wasn't a good one. But, Jonathan, let's go back to his April 10th effort at Aqueduct, where he did win while defeating Candid Desire, who he'll face again today.
The important thing that you mentioned here is his April 10th effort, where he was with Rudy Rodriguez, and no longer with Rudy Rodriguez. 92-day break. He ran well here, and he's got speed, but like we talked about, there's a lot of kind of horses that are quick in here that could put some pressure. I kind of feel like this horse could regress leaving Rudy's barn. He's one of those guys I don't like playing when they claim him off of him. Jason Service, Linda Rice, Mike Maker. I prefer to when they're in those kind of sharper operations.
Bullet Work jumps off the pages July 28th here, Saratoga. Half mile in 46-1, fastest of 156. For a paddock report, we check in with Maggie.
Thanks, guys. And I want to take a look at the drop-down horse in here, and that's number 2, the Caretaker, for trainer Kieran McLaughlin. Now, he gets some class relief in here, but he definitely has to face a lot of other foes, especially, as Jonathan was saying, to his outside. But he's a horse that always looks well, and when he does look like this here in the paddock, he tends to run that way. So I cannot fault him here whatsoever, and I think he does hold a bit of a class edge over many of these, as we'll also take a look at number 4, Blue Belt. Well, I remember when Blue Belt upset for Rudy Rodriguez, no less, at 50-1 last year. So obviously, maybe there's a little bit of an affinity for this racetrack, but also he looks to be the speed of the speed in here. He'll look to control, not that that's any advantage, but at least there's no other really, really fast horse in this field. He looks great for Dominic Scatino there. His last race, I thought, was actually a step in the right direction, finishing behind He Loves a Fight, who's in ultra good form right now. I'd be a little bit scared of Blue Belt. His number 5 is Manifest Destiny, one of 2 Rudy Rodriguez horses in here. And taking nothing away the job that Willie Youngins did with this horse previously, but you always got to pay attention when Rudy picks up horses like this, kind of under the radar types, and he looks fantastic here. I actually prefer him over Rudy's other horse, Summer Bourbon, who he obviously likes. He keeps claiming him back, but Manifest Destiny is fairly intriguing to me, and he'll be a bit of a price with Ricardo Santana aboard. As number 12 is Gypsum Johnny. He comes off a bit of a layoff and off the back of a win, albeit for 10. But against Open Company, he looks great, though. It's one of the best times I've seen Gypsum Johnny look in recent memory. As his coat, he looks like a shiny copper penny here. He's incredibly fit as well for Jeremiah Englehart. We'll see how he negotiates a trip, though, from that outside post. Lafitte?
Maggie, thanks so much. Gypsum Johnny, the 7-year-old gelding, about to make his 42nd lifetime start. Jonathan, let's go back to Candid Desire, number 6, currently 8-1, and maybe some of that has to do with the fact that he is 0 for 9 lifetime here at Saratoga. There he is.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this horse is he kind of really didn't show any speed earlier in the year, and was just kind of always far out of the races, and then he got claimed by Jorge Navarro, and suddenly he had a little bit more speed. And so I think that the second time with Navarro, he's got good stats we'll talk about later. Second time off the claim, I think this horse is going to show even more speed. I love that he's drawn outside of Blue Belt, who I think has obviously has a really good shot in here too, but he's drawn outside, and I think this horse will continue to improve for Jorge Navarro.
Candid Desire, 8-1. Eric Cancel to ride, moments away from riders up for this 6th race. New York bred $25,000 claimers going 6 furlongs, 3-year-olds and up. And, of course, you can play all the races from Saratoga all summer long from anywhere with an IRABETS account. New members can earn a $200 new member sign-up bonus by entering promo code LIVE at sign-up. To earn the bonus, just bet $200, get $200 within your first 14 days of joining. Sign up now at NYRABETS.com or download the NYRABETS app. Gorgeous day here in upstate New York. Riders up for race number 6 and looking ahead to today's Saratoga Derby, second leg of the Turf Trinity, and Jonathan winding down what's been an incredible weekend of racing. Later we'll recap the Whitney, Mackenzie, and a first Whitney victory for Bob Baffert, and what might just be the race of the year in yesterday's test with Covfefe and Serengeti Empress. Just awesome.
Oh, I feel bad for our colleague Tom Amos. That was a heck of a horse race. When it was over, you just kind of felt bad because
that anybody
neither one
had
of them,
to lose.
Yeah, neither one of them deserved to lose. They both fought very, very hard, very impressive. And Covfefe getting the 7 furlongs, I know a lot of people question that.
And Tom's so proud of her. And that's 2 gut-wrenching losses at the Grade 1 level. Guarano defeating her in the Acorn on the undercard of the Belmont Stakes, and yesterday in the test, as she was just trying to become the 3rd filly ever to win a Kentucky Oaks and a Grade 1 test. That close.
And there was nothing about her trip yesterday that suggested she should have ran as good as she was. She was down on the inside. She was pressured every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
She could have really given it up, and she came back and kept running.
And for Brad Cox, he said the Roxalana at Churchill Downs was a prep. Sometimes that sounds like trainer talk. In this case, it wasn't. Covfefe brought her best and takes down the Grade 1 test. We are all set for a post parade. This $25,000 claimer. New York bred's going 6 furlongs. There is Proletariat drawn inside, long shot 35-1.
Bad post, bad form, bad works. That's why the horse is 35-1.
So you like Proletariat going in, clearly. There is the favorite. The Caretaker at 5-2.
2 for 3 at Saratoga, but I do worry about the trip from the inside.
The Caretaker, Louis Saez, number 3. Play That Funky Music, another outsider at 25-1.
Was entered MTO in a mile on August 2nd. Now they're sprinting. I feel like that's a little bit curious.
Yeah, Luis Reyes is aboard. How about number 4? Blue Belt representing speed with Chris Linderos. Linderos just disqualified in race number 4.
Yeah, this horse is working really good. I think he could absolutely win this race. I worry that he's so fast, he could end up down on the inside.
There's number 5, Manifest Destiny, first after the claim. Rudy Rodriguez.
Rudy's 26% in his career first start.
That'll get it done. That will get it done. Candid Desire, the 7-year-old gelding, making his 58th lifetime start.
Showed more speed last time like we talked about earlier. Navarro is 33%, second off a claim in dirt sprints in his career.
Yeah, statistics say go. Scratch number 7, O'Shea. Can you see there is Tribeca. Quick gelding, Kendrick Carmouche takes over.
Just a little bit concerned. 97-day layoff after the claim, and this one does run well fresh.
And he's going. With Kendrick, he is going after the lead. Summer Bourbon, second of 2, first after the claim, Rudy Rodriguez.
Working poorly in the mornings with a horse that's about 20 points slower than the rest of these.
But Irad Ortiz in the saddle. Number 10 is Sunday on Sunday. It's the 10-year-old Ridgeling making his 61st career start.
It's a hunch play. I like ice cream. Sunday on Sunday. Maybe a piece. Maybe a piece, second or third, if it falls apart.
Thought you were going to play on the Ridgeling part of things. Number 11 is Joe's Smokin' Gun. Would be a big surprise.
Yeah, it was beaten 9 for $16,000. These are much tougher.
For that reason, a big price. Number 12, Gypsum Johnny, a winner for $10,000 late May at Belmont Park.
Yeah, this is a horse that could win if everything goes his way, but he's drawn outside. He's going to probably be wide no matter what happens. Going to be tough for him.
Kids are out at Saratoga having a great time with the family, enjoying the great weather and the terrific horse racing to come. As you look at the favorite, the Caretaker, currently 5-2. We're 7 minutes out till race 6 on this Saratoga Derby Sunday. You're watching Saratoga Live.
Go from Railbird to Winner's Circle. With My Racehorse, you have access to top horses and trainers, backside tours, exclusive ownership experiences, and fast payouts to your online account. With shares starting as little as $100, the Winner's Circle is waiting for you. Go to myracehorse.com or download the My Racehorse app today to join the thousands who have already started their journey as a racehorse owner.
What constitutes a promising stallion? Speed? He's still the fastest tappet ever around 2 turns. Pedigree? He's got the strength of the founding fathers, top and bottom. And he's passing that strength on. With a graded stakes winner and 2 TDN Rising Stars from his first crop, he's one of the leading freshman sires in the country. Constitution. He's the son of Tappet we've all been waiting for.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
I really like this yearling because he's an athletic, agile, active, high-energy horse. He's very correct. He moves well. He's very attractive, beautiful markings, and he's out of a multiple graded stakes winning mare. I'm also excited because he's by Runhappy, who's a multiple graded stakes winner, multiple grade 1 winner with a lot of speed. There's a lot of good buzz about him. The first foals sold well. So I think this is a nice package that a lot of people are going to be interested in.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I'm Alex Evers. I'm a professional photographer with Eclipse Sportswire. We're shooting at beautiful Del Mar today. I shoot a lot of horse racing, so I'm super excited to take you guys into what a day at the races is like. Keep coming, like, yeah, right there. I mean, it's the most beautiful animal. They're born to run.
Does a great job, Alex Evers, America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Of course, you can play along with the races on Saratoga Live today with no money down with the Saratoga Showdown. Place mythical win place show bets on races 6 through 10 on the card today, including the Saratoga Derby and Adirondack. Win real prizes like a 50,000 Naira Bets points or the grand prize of a 2020 VIP Belmont Stakes ticket package. Get in on the action at naira.com/showdown. We know those colors of Michael Dubb has Summer Bourbon going in this 6th race, and we check in with Acacia with Mr. Dubb.
Yes, indeed. And we are up here in the box area getting ready to watch the race. And Mike, this horse, Summer Bourbon, actually a reclaim for you and Rudy Rodriguez. Tell me the thought process there.
You know, Rudy had this horse's number. The horse ran really big for Rudy that day. So when the horse was back in, Saratoga was on, you know, in front of us. And I was like, let's take a shot. Maybe we can win a race at Saratoga. You know, winning up here, whether it's a claiming race or a stakes race, is the greatest feeling on earth.
It could be a big day for you as well with Rock Emperor, the favorite coming up in the Saratoga Derby. Look back on his performance in the Belmont Derby from post 14.
Well, you know, we were really out of it, but if you're going to be in post 14 at Belmont, you want Johnny Velasquez as your jockey. There's just no better big money rider than Johnny Velasquez. And, you know, he knew what to do. He knew when to push go. 14 was a little rough to overcome. As I recall in the Trackus, we had run substantially further than the first 2 finishes, but don't remember the exact number.
Now, you had told me you got the horse at the right time. This series, the Turf Trinity, was on the mind the whole time for Rock Emperor.
Yeah, when they put it on the menu, you know, we got together, Sal Kuhn, myself, a third partner, and said we ought to try and get some horses for that series. So we got Oladon. Unfortunately, that didn't work out so good the other day, and we got Rock Emperor, and hopefully we'll do a lot better.
Well, Mike, thanks for your time as always. Best of luck today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Summer Bourbon coming up and Rock Emperor a little bit later in the Saratoga Derby, Lafitte.
Yeah, Acacia, so much excitement for the Turf Triple. And with Mike Dubb involved, Henley's Joy, despite the win in the Belmont Derby at 20-1, Mike Dubb's Rock Emperor, the 7-2 morning line favorite for this afternoon's Saratoga Derby. And as John Velasquez said earlier, Jonathan, yeah, he is going to have to navigate, find his way through the bigger field. He is a closer. We'll see how it all shakes out from a race shape standpoint. The Saratoga Derby later today on FS1. We check in with Maggie.
Thanks, Lafitte. In regards to this race coming up, we have 2 minutes to post. And, I mean, this is a head-scratcher. I, unfortunately, defaulted to the favorite and the caretaker. But want to talk about warm-ups really quick. With number 8, Tribeca, you are right, Lafitte. He's going to give Blue Belt a run for his money. I think Blue Belt might be just a naturally faster horse, but Kendrick aboard. Coming off a bit of a layoff, this guy is fresh, and Kendrick has been nonstop out here. Took him away from the pony, has been doing circles and figure eights in the chute, so he's getting this horse on the bridle. And 2, he gets to run over a fast track. As of late, this is a horse who does not like any moisture in the track, so he looks fit enough as well off the bench. Can't say he looks great overall. He has a bit of a dull, drab coat to him, but still, he's going to be a thorn in the side of Blue Belt. As number 6, Candid Desire, will look to make a pounce if that pace does come apart. Disappointed in his last effort. First off the claim for Jorge Navarro, to be quite honest. You got to wonder where his form's going, but physically he looks tremendous. Super energy, really bouncing off his toes, a lot of suspension in his movement. So Candid Desire, he's a bit chilly on the board, in my opinion, at 7-1. We'll see. He does have Eric Concel aboard today. Lafitte?
Maggie, thanks so much. We've reached post time, Jonathan. She was talking about Kendrick Carmouche, the warm-up for Tribeca, the speed he brings to the party. Is that something you're depending on here with your selection of Candid Desire, this pace to melt down, essentially?
Well, you know, I actually don't think that a lot of times when races like this that they actually do melt down. I look for the speed of the speed. That's why I used the 4 and the 6 in my pick 6, unless I absolutely love a closer. They are going 6 furlongs, and so sometimes at 6, the speed just hangs on. I'm looking for who's going to have the outside stalking trip. I think your winner comes from there. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be the 4 or the 6.
Candid Desire at 7-1, your top selection here. Final check of the tote board reading at 2-1 on the favorite, number 2, Caretaker. Larry Colmus with the call. It is post time, race number 6, live from Saratoga.
Joe's Smokin' Gun going in. And last up will be Gypsum Johnny, who will complete the line. Gypsum Johnny stepping up. Goes in. And they're all in line. They're off. And it is Tribeca, who's out sharply for the early lead, with Blue Belt away running in second to the inside, a length behind. Then Joe's Smokin' Gun. Summer Bourbon goes up in between horses with Manifest Destiny right in that group too. And then it's Play That Funny Music, the Caretaker on the inside. Candid Desire, Gypsum Johnny is next, and then Proletariat. And being eased up is Sunday on Sunday at the rear of the field. 22.89 was that opening quarter mile as they make their way into the far turn, where the leader is Tribeca under Kendrick Carmouche, on top by 3/4 of a length. Summer Bourbon on the outside second. Joe Smokin' Gun tracks them in third. Then Blue Belt, the Caretaker on the inside, followed by Manifest Destiny in between horses. Gypsum Johnny on the far outside, and Play That Funny Music. 45.9 was the half, and they're into the stretch. Tribeca still out there in front. Coming to the 8th pole with a Caretaker closing the gap on the inside. These two are now 1-2 ahead of Blue Belt in third. Then comes Summer Bourbon in fourth. It is still Tribeca. Tribeca from the Caretaker and Blue Belt. And Tribeca takes him every step of the way. The Caretaker was second. Blue Belt was third. A photo for fourth that may have gone to Gypsum Johnny outside of Joe Smokin' Gun and Summer Bourbon.
Aggressively ridden. Kendrick Carmouche, Tribeca, flashing that speed, clears and never looks back.
Yeah, the horse runs really well fresh, and he ran well there. He didn't really allow anyone to kind of get to him. He was in a good spot from the go. Like I said, in these races, when it looks like they're going to fall apart, so often they don't. It's the speed of the speed. So when you're looking at these races, try to find out who you think's the fastest. Lean on that one and maybe throw in some closers. Today was Tribeca.
Favorite trying to do everything he can on the inside, Caretaker. Carmouche goes to the right hand. Tribeca responds. Late run from number 4 in here, Blue Belt, but again, just too much Tribeca. Also, you heard Larry Colmus allude to Sunday on Sunday, number 10, who was pulled up on the backstretch. We don't have an update. As soon as we have that information, we will pass that along. For the time being, an 8-2-4 unofficial order of finish. Carmouche and Tribeca closing at 4-1 in the first leg of the late pick 5.
The Caretaker ran pretty good, but like we talked about before, I just didn't think that it was going to work out with him down on the inside. Now, I think if you switch post positions, there's a chance in which the Caretaker would have won. I just think that being down in there is tough.
I want to go back and take a look at the start. 2 and 3, Caretaker. Play That Funny Music. Numbers 2 and 3, screen right. Bad start for both of them.
Absolutely, came in a little bit. I mean, the Caretaker really, in hindsight, had kind of a tough trip, and one that you would want to take a look at moving forward in the next start.
Carmouche taking over, and it's like instant acceleration. And Tribeca, who broke sharp, able to establish the lead and essentially wire this field at 8-2-4-12 in race number 6 here at Saratoga. Jonathan, you have to move. Because we have a terrific guest joining us on the set. The president of Claiborne Farm, Walker Hancock, joins us live here on Saratoga Live. Stay tuned.
With the exception of Frankel, Air Force Blue is Timeform's highest-rated juvenile in nearly 20 years. He was a 3-time Grade 1 winning champion juvenile.
Air Force Blue. Air Force Blue. A really good horse.
His first weanlings have sold for up to $210,000.
In the back, $210,000. Ralph, thank you.
He's Warfront's best juvenile from a family of champions. A force on the track, a force in the ring. Air Force Blue.
We're gonna go a-traveling and have us a fling. We're gonna start living. You just wait and see. Nothing but the best is good enough. Nothing but the best is good enough for me.
Flatter. This prolific son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, he's adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record, including Sovereign Award winner Avies Flatter. In the auction ring, his yearlings have topped the Fasig-Tipton July sale 2 years in a row. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, sponsored in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the unusual unusually well. We are here in the winner's circle as we just wrapped up race 6. I'm here with winning jockey Kendrick Carmouche. And Kendrick, first and foremost, just took a picture with some of the greatest jockeys that we have seen here in Saratoga.
It's good to just be among those type of guys. You know, it make me, what my dream came true of being in New York, you know, it make me feel so much better to be with these guys, to watch Hall of Fame riders just be around us, you know, and still support the game. It's a wonderful thing in life.
An aggressive ride here by you on Tribeca, and you got out to the front. Tell me your feelings, what you felt underneath of you coming down to the wire.
Well, I went to see Mr. Toscano the other morning, and he told me, Kendrick, I put you on the horse that you used to win on. He's doing great. I really think you're going to win no matter what. He never says it. That's all I had to do is warm him up good, break him sharp, and just control the speed, and, man, he ran home beautiful.
Certainly did. Kendrick, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Looks like John Toscano was right about this one, guys.
Yeah, Acacia, and just making it look all too easy there with Kendrick Carmouche. It's this on Sundays. A couple of weeks back, he had 2 wins, including Mamanu in a stakes race. The Caress at a big price at a win last Sunday, and one here, Tribeca, $10 for your would-be $2 investment. As I'm now joined by a very special guest. He is the president of Claiborne Farm and has been since 2014. Walker Hancock joining us on the show. Walker, thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Exciting week with the sales getting underway tomorrow here at Saratoga. What are you looking forward to most?
Well, you know, kind of the first big yearling sale of the year. It kind of sets a tone for the yearling market going forward. Hopefully a lot of momentum is created going into the big September sale at Keeneland next month. And it'll carry on through the rest of the fall. So, you know, it's a marquee sale. Everyone pays attention, and there's a lot of nice horses being sold across the street.
Like yourself, Jim McInvale is a big supporter of this show. Runhappy as a Stallion prospect. How excited are you with him moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited. I mean, the weanling average, the yearling average so far speaks for itself. I mean, there's 4 across the street here that we're really excited to see go through. You know, we're seeing a lot of quality in his offspring, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do on the track.
And there's going to be 4 Runhappy yearlings in the sale. What can you tell us about them?
You know, we're seeing a lot of his traits that he's passing down. You know, the really athletic bodies, good sound correct horses, and you know, if he throws the talent that he had, he's going to be a heck of a sire.
From a versatility standpoint, he was so good as a sprinter. Do you get the feel that his offspring are going to be able to obviously do just that and carry their talent at longer distances?
You know, it depends on the mares that they're out of. So far, they look very racy, and it looks like they'll be early and have a lot of speed, but there's a certain few that look like they'll be able to carry their speed as well. You know, out of the mares that maybe have a deeper pedigree, that a route of distance. So, you know, I think we'll see all kinds of types from them.
Also wanted to ask you about the couple of war fronts. Hip number 44, also hip number 123, the war fronts for Claiborne that'll be involved in the sale.
Yeah, you know, he's had obviously an awesome year with War of Will and Omaha Beach early on, winning some American classics. You know, that Warfront got his start on the dirt. That's how he was kind of first made, and people kind of forgot he was a dirt sire. But with War of Will and Omaha Beach this past spring doing what they did, I think people kind of remembered, oh, you know, they can run on the dirt too. So I think you'll see maybe some more dirt buyers, domestic buyers looking at the Warfronts this year, as maybe years past it's been a more international appeal. But, you know, we're excited for the sales and all the Warfronts we have to offer.
Is it just exciting for you to attend the sales? Is there some anxiety involved? What's that like for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I like the sales a lot. You know, you see these foals that are born and raised, and you know, we finally get to take them to the market and see what the public thinks of them. You know, we know we like them at the farm, but it's kind of gratifying when they bring a big number, and you know, it's good for the family, it's good for the farm. It's a lot of fun.
From the breeding side of things, back to racing, I wanted to ask you about Elate, her performance in the Delaware Handicap, and what you made of the performance, and moving towards the personal ensign here at Saratoga.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously loves Delaware Park. She ran away from that field, and you know, we were more than pleased. You know, she's awesome. We're very excited, looking forward to hear the personal ensign towards the end of the meet, and maybe get some revenge on Midnight Basu. We'll have to see.
She made that look so easy. She's been so good at 1.25 miles. I don't know, has that been a conversation at some point, that year-end long-term goal, a Breeders' Cup Classic taking on the boys at what might be her best distance? I know the Breeders' Cup's not at Delaware.
Sure, yeah, right. You know, 1.25 miles obviously she excels at. We're going to take it one race at a time. You know, 1.1 miles is certainly a different distance than 1.16 miles, and that clearly was too short for her. But you know, 1.8 miles is more her speed, and you know, we'll see how she performs. But the Breeders' Cup Classic certainly could be in the conversation.
You know, you mentioned Midnight Basu, who defeated her at Oaklawn Park. Is there an added sense? Look, the personal ensign's a personal ensign, grade 1 here at Saratoga. But do you get caught up in that? Is there an added sense of, it's not motivating for you because you're not the one running, but still that mindset of turning the table?
Sure, it's a marquee race on the calendar for Distaff fillies, and it's a huge race. I mean, it's you know, it's one of the championship races, really. You know, if she goes out and wins that, she'll have to be in the conversation for champion older mare for the year. So, you know, we'll have to see how it goes.
You know, with Claiborne, you hear certain horses' names, and it's, you got to love that one syllable. Lee is one that comes to mind.
Blame.
The former Dawn winner, Blame, a Breeders' Cup Classic winner, not just because you're sitting here, but I would argue should have been Horse of the Year that same year. And Vast, that filly who made her broker maiden right here at Saratoga opening week, Walker.
Yeah, that was exciting. You know, Lee's a first-year sire for us, first crop his first crop are 2-year-olds, and she obviously got him off on a good start here at Saratoga, winning impressively like she did in front of a big crowd that everyone pays attention to. And you know, we're gonna hopefully bring her back in a stake here, maybe towards the end of the meet, maybe the Bolton Landing or something like that, and hopefully she can maybe get Lee his first stakes winner.
Quickly on a personal note, you've done this, the president of Claiborne, since 2014. That is a big responsibility. What's this journey been like for you?
Oh, it's a learning experience. I mean, you learn something new every day. If you don't, I think you're going to get behind. So it's been great so far, and hopefully I can continue the success that my father, my grandfather, and others have had before me.
Great job. Thanks so much for stopping by, Walker. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
By the way, my all-time Kentucky Derby favorite winner, Swale, Claiborne, back in 1984. Walker Hancock joining us here on Saratoga Live. When we return, can we go ahead and submit this for Race of the Year? Yesterday's Grade 1 test, Cafefe. Serengeti Empress doesn't get much better than that.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. He traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. Now his progeny are hitting the track. His first winners include Saratoga standout Vast, with juveniles selling for over $400,000 and yearlings bringing up to $650,000. The sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Storylines we've been following.
It's going to be a star-studded lineup.
They're not going to beat her. Wouldn't spend $1 on her.
And we haven't gotten any argument yet.
Find yourself in the winner's circle here. It's the greatest feeling on earth.
Saratoga Live has you covered every race day, all summer long. There are a million reasons to play Saratoga, but Naira Bets customers have a million more. Naira Bets customers can earn a $1 million single ticket bonus on the late pick 5 at Saratoga. Join Naira Bets to play the late pick 5 today. Visit nairabets.com for details.
By Eclipse champion sprinter Runhappy. This remarkable colt is out of a stakes-placed full sister to Third Dawn, a stakes winner and runner-up in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks. Look for hip number 116 at the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. Our coverage brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Gorgeous day here in upstate New York with about 17 minutes to go until race number 7. You know, she was a fan favorite during the course of her riding career. Still is. Julie Crone, the first woman to win a Belmont Stakes, Colonial Affair back in 1993. Part of what made her so popular, her ability to inspire, something she continues to do.
I'm galloping a mile and a quarter.
Julie Crone put away her tack in 2004, but the Hall of Fame jockey still wants to inspire young people of all backgrounds and sizes to become part of racing.
Some of those kids in there, they don't care if they're announcers, hot walkers, a groom, like they just want to get to the backside and be on the backside and be with racehorses.
So on this first day of junior jockey camp at Long Shadows Farm in Cambridge, New York, Crone joined with jockey camp founder Frank Lovato Jr. to set up a mini racetrack on the scale of a 1-mile track.
They actually get to learn the track etiquette. They get to learn the furlong markers. That's the furlong poles, the 16th poles, typical track setup.
The campers quickly learned race riding can be a risky business, as Lovato told them he first created a mechanical horse so that he could get in shape following a riding accident without having to actually ride. The junior jockeys will also use the equicizers before they ride horses like Harlem Rocker. The retired earner of more than $600,000 is one of many retired horses enjoying life just a few miles away from the Saratoga Racecourse, where Crone scored many of her more than 3,700 wins. Some members of this all-female class of junior jockeys say they need to learn a few things to follow in Crone's footsteps.
Not being afraid to go fast and stuff like that.
Don't ever be afraid to go fast, Jonathan.
Man, that's how I live my life. Fast, full speed, all the time.
Like Kendrick in the last race. Paid off for him. Worked out nicely.
I love me some Kendrick Carmouche. You know, I think in this day and age we have, I think probably with social media, these riders, I think they make mistakes and they got to hear about it. And so I think they're a little bit more passive than when your father was riding and guys like Angel Cordero. So when a guy like Kendrick takes advantage and kind of is aggressive, I appreciate that as a horse player.
People back then would just get up in your face, all up in your business. Now they can do it from a distance and just tweet at you. Race number 7 in 14 minutes. Live look at number 1, Final Frontier. Godolphin colt, trained by Tom Albatrani, Jonathan. He's on a pattern of winning every other race. Bodes well for his chances today. He lost his latest, May 25th, Belmont, finishing 3rd as the favorite, and Battle Station, also running today, would run 5th.
I like Final Frontier. I think he's going to get a great trip. I know some people hate the rail draw. It doesn't bother me at all. This horse finishes. I think that when you're down on the rail like that, it kind of gives the rider only really one way to go with a horse that's probably the best in the race. You put him into the race. I think he'll either be on the lead or sitting in the pocket.
Either Final Frontier, Battle Station on your Pick 5 ticket, because it's about that time?
It is that time, isn't it? Yeah, so what we did is part of the thing that I've talked about it before. When you play a Pick 6, be aggressive in that first leg because you can come back and play the pick 5. So it's pretty much the same ticket. The only difference is in race 9, I added a couple of horses. I added the 1, Hindley's Joy, who I think last time was the time, and the 2, Social Paranoia, who's going to be forwardly placed and has been running well in these races.
There you have it. Write it down. Let's get down to Maggie in the paddock.
Liking a little Social Paranoia as well, Jonathan, as horses are just about tacked and ready for this 5.5 furlong sprint allowance, as Final Frontier, the inside runner, is your current favorite. He's been one of my boys since last year, getting on the turf for the first time, so you won't hear any complaints from me. He looks fantastic here. But interested in a horse who is coming back off of a short rest, that is number 2, Pagliacci. He won fairly convincingly with a fast buyer last time. This is going to be his 3rd start of the meet already. Yeah, 3. What you look for, are they carrying their weight well? Is their energy fine? I can't say neither of those things are negative. He looks healthy. His coat looks great. He's a fairly laid-back horse as far as his overall character. So, yeah, but he's striding out well here in the paddock. And Linda, when she does this, she likes to strike when the iron's hot. And when she's confident and aggressive with her horses, it does usually pay off. So he is taking a bit of money as of now. Moving on to, well, other layoffs, longer layoffs, including number 4, Stolen Pistol, who we have not seen this New York bred since last fall. 7 furlongs too far over a yielding course. He does need it firm, which he's getting here today. He comes back sharp, probably sharper than what I've seen in past years, but he does look fit. He's gotten a little warm, which I don't love to see. It's not that hot here today whatsoever. So sometimes with horses coming back layoffs, when they get a little warm, it tends to be a sign that they need the proverbial start. Moving on to number 8, Adonis Creed, another one coming off of a layoff. He'll get back to this Saratoga turf course, and he comes in very fit for Brad Cox. I can't say that he looks unfit whatsoever. A horse that never looks that great in his coat, so I'm not going to fault him there because, again, he doesn't look that great in his coat, but he never has, but really, really fit. He is a funny horse to ride, so Joel Rosario has been on him and won on him before. He can't be too aggressive with the stick. He's had a propensity to duck out from that in past races. And then finally, we'll take a look at number 6, Avinu Malkinu. I was confident in him handling the turf last time, especially going the 7 furlongs. Not so confident in him handling the 5.5. These Into Mischiefs, as talented as they are, it seems to be about 6 to a mile is their best distance range. He's very, very long bodied. You look at him against the 2 horses he's walking around the kind of circle here with, in Pagliacci and Tibber, and he's nearly 12 inches longer in his back than those 2. So right there you can see physically that he's a horse that might need more ground, though maybe he works out the right kind of trip. Lafitte?
Yeah, Maggie, Avino Malkano, it does feel a little sharp, this 5.5 furlongs, Jonathan, as we look at Pagliacci, 5 to 1 on the morning line, now 7 to 2, looking for back-to-back wins. This distance does not feel too sharp for Pagliacci.
No, and that horse has run really, really well. His only bad race, really, in the last few was the off the turf one. But Linda was on the show, and she said in an interview, I think with Acacia or Maggie, that she was just running because the owners were there and they wanted to run.
Right.
But ran really well last time. I think this horse is going to get a great trip right in behind Final Frontier. Either one of them will be in the pocket, or both of them will kind of be the 1 and the 1A of the pocket if Battle Station goes.
That's the thing. You really have to treat layoffs differently here as a handicapper. Horses that have not, because owners want to run at Saratoga. And pointing for this particular meet, and you say to yourself, why this horse hasn't raced in such a long time? Well, that's exactly why. Owners want to come here and take a shot, even if it's a stretch.
And if it's a long layoff, I think we've got someone in here, Stolen Pistols off a 303-day layoff. It doesn't necessarily mean that Stolen Pistol's going to be given a race. This is Saratoga, right? So this horse has probably been trained, and the screws tightened because they want to run well here. I've heard a lot of people say that a win here is worth 3 anywhere else.
You saw John Velasquez smiling, 2 wins on yesterday's program. But while we have a moment, a look ahead or a look back at yesterday's Grade 1 Whitney later. And again, the race of the meet, I don't know, maybe the race of the year. Yesterday's Test Stakes, the most celebrated sprint race for 3-year-old fillies here at the Spa. and you had Serengeti Empress coming in, trying to become just the third filly ever to win a Kentucky Oaks and the Test Stakes. But just like in the Acorn, she was buried down inside. And I guess this is something you can appreciate about Tom Amoss, not just because he's our friend and colleague. All along, he said, we're going. He said the same thing in the Acorn, and she did. She was out there wheeling and dealing, going as fast as she possibly could, breaking well from the inside, but facing some serious heat in Covfefe right from the start here, Jonathan. We're looking for Serengeti Empress, the sharp break. Jose Ortiz lets his intentions known.
Oh, he sure did, and that's what you have to do with a horse like this. A horse that's used to having her head in front. You're doing yourself no favors, regardless who else is in the race, by taking her back and letting her eat dirt for the first time in a Grade 1 that's as important as this race. And the thing is I ended up picking Bellafina. I think Andy Serling picked Bellafina as well. It's because we thought this was going to happen, but those two talented fillies kept running and didn't come back to the horses that were closing.
You saw Serengeti Empress was able to clear. Jose Ortiz asks her for her best. She gives him her best, but Covfefe is all over her. Serengeti Empress responds. Covfefe on the outside, spellbinding stretch duel in yesterday's Grade 1 test.
These are one of those races that make horse players wake up the next day a little bit hoarse. And I'm talking about the voice, not the animal. If you had Serengeti Empress or if you had Covfefe from the 8th pole home, you were screaming. I was screaming too, but don't tell Tom Amoss.
Yeah, and look at Serengeti Empress battling on the inside, not giving an inch, digging deep, and in the end, just too much Covfefe. And Brad Cox, who we'll hear from in a moment, again, he had talked about the race at Churchill Downs, the high five, the embrace, using that race as a prep. And often that can just sound like, trainer talk. In this case, it wasn't, because Covfefe absolutely brought her best in the test. Let's check in with Acacia standing by with test-winning trainer Brad Cox.
Covfefe so incredibly game yesterday in the Grade 1 test. And Brad, first and foremost, how did she come out of the race, and what a performance once again from that filly?
Yeah, no, she came out of it in great shape. She looked amazing this morning, and she'll get a little break after this. So I mean, we'll look for something this fall, maybe onto the Breeders' Cup. But we cranked on her pretty good to get that race out of her yesterday, and we're going to just take a deep breath with her and get her back to Kentucky in probably 10 days, 2 weeks.
We'll be looking forward to seeing her again. But you do have Adonis Creed coming off the layoff here in this next race. Tell us how he's doing. Looks very fit off the bench.
Yeah, he's fit. He puts a lot into his training. He's had some really good works leading up to this race. And, we'll see. Joel, he's had some success on him in the past. And hopefully he can work out a trip today going 5.5. Maybe a touch short, but, this is what the condition book offered, and this is where we landed. So hopefully it's a good spot.
He has been a little bit of a quirky horse, certainly, in the past. Have you seen him develop at all lately?
Yeah, he's matured a little bit. Yeah, he can still, Joel, it's the one thing we always go over is, he can be a little tough to get down the lane. He doesn't run the straightest path all the time. So, but he's training well, and I think he's set up for a big effort.
Brad, thanks for your time. Best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
We'll see if we see trainer Brad Cox back in the winner's circle again today, guys.
Acacia, thanks so much. What a terrific weekend. The Hall of Fame yesterday, Mary Lou Whitney Saturday, that Test Stakes. Today, the first ever Saratoga Derby. Pick 5 about to get underway, and audio engineer John's daughter Zoe just dropped off 2 tiny cupcakes for us.
I'm just going to see if I can eat it real quick. I don't know if I'll be able to
do
it fast enough.
We're going to have time because we have a break. 4 minutes to post. Race 7 from Saratoga. Stay tuned.
Runhappy is a stallion for us. He was so exciting to watch over his race career. He's obviously a world-class sprinter. We love his conformation. We feel that the colt we have going to the sale is a good physical representation of Runhappy. He's athletic, he's versatile, and he was received very well in the sales ring as a weanling, and we're excited to see what the Saratoga sales will continue to be like as yearlings.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code SPA at NairaBets.com.
Coming on strong,
minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
My love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing 1 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing 1 2.
Feel my love for you coming on strong.
Looking at the test-winning team of Joel Rosario, Brad Cox with Covfefe yesterday, and that absolute thriller. We're in a holding pattern here. It obviously shows a minute. Jonathan and I were in the paddock. We're not able to see what's going on front side. We're told tractors are still on the track. I don't have any other information to provide, but for the time being, horses circling about in the paddock for race number 7 and the start of this late pick 5. So we did have a chance to look back at the test, but the big story going in was the Grade 1 Whitney. It was the 92nd edition. You heard trainers like Todd Pletcher saying that aside from the Breeders' Cup Classic, this is the most important, significant, prestigious race for older horses in North America. All eyes on the two-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert. He brought McKenzie, who was favored, breaks sharp, preservationist, so good in that Suburban, Jonathan, to his outside, but it's Smith dictating things up front, and what he's able to do coming off this turn, staying off the rail, eventually really control the tempo and slow that pace down.
He did. This was a brilliant, brilliant ride. I actually got to talk to Gary Stevens, who we'll see a little bit later, about this ride, and he was so impressed about how good the horse was, but also Mike Smith. Mike, this is a decision that if it goes wrong, people are very upset with him about this horse getting beat. He pulls the horse back. He goes back outside around. When you're that good and you know your horse is that good, you can take those chances. And he stayed off of the inside and got outside of Preservationist.
Preservationist, as you saw, made the lead. He's under a drive turning for home. And now, McKenzie, like, how much does he have left? Vino Rosso to his outside. Yoshida out in the center of the racetrack. Smith asks the question. McKenzie responds, lengthens his stride, and goes on to a convincing, impressive Grade 1 Whitney victory.
Right. And one of the things that I learned about Mike Smith and McKenzie, when they ran in California in that race where he lost the Battle of Midway, McKenzie did not like the stick. And if you watch all of McKenzie's races since, Mike never uses the stick. And he went fast early in $1 million mile and an eighth race like the Whitney. He never even looked to use it to encourage McKenzie.
Which takes so much discipline for a rider, because when you get desperate, that's the instinct. Mike Smith, by the way, that was his first Whitney since Brunswick, I believe, back in 1993. You want to go to that. You want to go to it. That's the instinct. But here, Smith with the hand ride. And, these guys won a Triple Crown together with Justify. Bob Baffert, Mike Smith, their reaction following the victory in yesterday's Whitney.
It's very emotional for me because he was named after a dear friend of mine that passed a couple of years ago. And for him to win this race, and, we came up here hoping to win it. We thought he was the best horse going in. This is a very important race. He needed to win this race. I've never won the Whitney, and so unfortunately Mary Lou wasn't here. I wish, it's sad that she wasn't here, but it was, the horse came through, and just so excited, so relieved that he won it. Everybody thought maybe he was just a miler, but he showed us a different dimension today, and he had gears, and he beat a serious field of horses right there, and so it was a very impressive race. The good ones, they can go. Justify, American Pharoah, he could have won the Breeders' Cup Sprint, the Mile, the Classic, the great ones. He's a great horse.
Well, I was hoping to get a really good break, regardless if Thunder Snow was in there or not. I really wanted to catch a good break, spread the field out a little bit, that way it'd give me some options. With him out of there, I thought there's probably even going to be more speed. I thought more people would decide to go. With Thunder Gulch in there, more people might not have went. So the break, again, was key. I was able to put some separation in the field so that when Junior came to my outside, I was able to just tap on the brakes and get to his outside so I wasn't forced down in the inside. I didn't want to be down there today. It just didn't look like the place to be. I could be totally wrong, but it worked. This is a special Whitney. Miss Whitney just passed away. I know she's up there watching. This was her race, and her husband's race, and even more of an honor to win it this time.
Emotional day, emotional victory for Bob Baffert because of who McKenzie is named after his late, very close friend, Brad McKenzie, for Mike Smith as well. And the guts for Smith to make the lead with McKenzie and still have the confidence, again, to ease back, allow Preservationist to go ahead, make the lead, and still have the confidence, almost like driving a car, that he could take McKenzie back, move into the outside, guide him into the clear, and move whenever he wanted.
That's what Mike Smith does. It's what he did. All of his rides that you can think about as big rides, he always seems to do something that you worry that other guys wouldn't have had the confidence to do. Mike, look, he had a bad ride in the Met Mile, and he's still on the horse. So he knows that Bob Baffert and the team believe in him, so he can go out there and make the best decisions. He reminds me of, like, LeBron and Tom Brady, right? Like, they're physically talented, and they are on good teams, and they're well coached. But it's the mental part that separates them that makes them great.
Clutch. There's a reason. I know you've heard it 1,000 times, but yeah, big money, Mike Smith, and that first Whitney win in 26 years and a first ever from Bob Baffert. As for Preservationist, who eventually did make the lead, his jockey, Junior Alvarado, and his thoughts following yesterday's Whitney.
I had a good trip. Just took my chance, tried to, get in front of McKenzie, see if I can get a first run out of it, but he was, good horse today, and, he won nice and easy,
Your thoughts overall on Preservationist's performance?
Yeah, I thought he ran well. He was, he was brilliant down at Belmont, and obviously he'd had some issues that had kept him from some consistent runs, and looks like he's going in the right direction. So I think Jimmy Jerkins and the rest of the team will be happy to try to get him back either in the Woodward or back down to Belmont for the Jockey Club Gold Cup. But I don't think he was ever beating McKenzie, not yesterday, and at a 1 1/8, I don't think he ever would. Now, at a 1 1/4, it could be a different story, but I'm one that believes that McKenzie will get the 1 1/4.
Big run from Yoshida as well. And don't forget later the inaugural running of the $1 million Saratoga Derby, middle leg of the Turf Trinity. Henley's Joy is a third of the way there with his Belmont Derby victory, but not favored. The Saratoga Derby coverage begins 5 Eastern on FS1. So again, the horse is still in the paddock. We're told they're going to head out for the post parade in a moment. Jonathan and I in the paddock. We can't see what's happening front side. We were told the tractors were still on the track, and once they arrive front side, not too much of a warm-up. I'm told, Jonathan, they will go right to the starting gate, and finally, riders up. 2-1 favorite, Final Frontier, the Godolphin Colt, $62,500 allowance optional claimer. 5.5 furlongs on this firm turf course. And Final Frontier, who is the favorite with that inside draw, 2-1.
Yeah, I like where both those horses are drawn, Final Frontier and Pagliacci down on the inside. Turf racing is about saving ground. Turf sprints, it's even more important because you got less time to make up for the lost ground.
Just listening to an announcement. Yeah, Larry Colmus announcing the information we just relayed. With the delay, riders up. They'll head front side. They'll hit the track and go straight to the starting gate for this 7th race. This one, these turf sprints, they're tough. Trying to figure out what that race shape is going to look like. What do you think Jose Lezcano's his approach and strategy will be from the inside with Final Frontier?
I would think go. The horse will relax, so I guess sitting in the pocket could go as well. It would work just fine as well. I guess it depends on what happens with Johnny, Wesley Ward, and Battle Station to the outside. That horse has some speed. Wesley's horses obviously have no issues getting out of the gate from a very young age, and so I think he'll be forward in here. But I think that the great thing about Final Frontier is he can do a lot of different things from down there, and that's a good position to be in.
How difficult overall did you find the sequence, Jonathan? How challenging?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I thought the Saratoga Derby's tough. There's a lot of horses that look the same to me, and I think that comes down to trip. I thought this race was straightforward. I thought it was just a 1 and the 2 here. I think the next race is a little bit more challenging. Obviously, the Adirondack, I like 2 horses. The Bill Mott, Frank's Rocket we saw down at Churchill Downs, and then Magic Dance, the half to Guarana, that gave Serengeti Empress a little trouble in the Acorn. So, and then obviously in the last race, the universal good thing that you hear about when you're hanging out at Saratoga.
Is it ever universal, though?
I'll tell you what,
good thing?
It's funny. Chancelot last week was one of those horses that you heard was like could not lose, and he obviously could not lose.
Here's the thing with that is you look at Pagliacci, Again, he won last Sunday's 9th race. Will attempt a post parade here. Stolen Pistol, sidelined since the first week of October last year.
2 wins at Saratoga, turf sprinting.
All you need to know. Are we going to see Tiber? Maybe. Nice long look at Stolen Pistol.
Motion was hot this week.
He is. There's Tiber.
There he is.
Kentucky bred. Spent the first 6 of his 9 races in Europe. Avino Volcano, one-time defeated Champagne favorite.
He broke his maiden going 5.5, and there's a big difference between 7 and 5.5 from his last race.
Ghoul, Brazilian, second start in the U.S.
Off the turf last time, obviously wanted to be on the turf. Brazilian figures are pretty quick, not fast enough for these, I don't think.
Adonis Creed, test-winning combination, Joel Rosario and Brad Cox.
The MTO down in South Florida kind of throws me off in his last attempt. Maybe they want to get him on dirt. I don't understand.
Battle Station, high-profile connections, Ken and Sarah Ramsey, Wesley Ward, John Velasquez.
Pace presence for sure. We'll see what happens with this one. Keep an eye on him and the 1, and you'll know how fast they're going.
Shiny Copper Penny, 1-4, 27 lifetime.
Maggie said Shiny Copper Penny as a phrase earlier. I thought she confused me. I thought we were on the wrong race.
She liked the horse at 40-1. I'm Corfu pictured for trainer Wayne Rice at 40-1.
21 starts in the career, once on turf, and it wasn't good. A little bit curious. The tote board agrees.
Scratch numbers 12 and 13, so that's the field for this 7th race, where we had reached post time several minutes back, but the delay, the horses just reached the track. We went through that abbreviated post parade, and they're going to go straight to the starting gate before the start of this late pick 5, and a big crowd here at Saratoga. It's the August place to be. You could feel the energy change seemingly as soon as the calendar turned, and from the Hall of Fame yesterday, the emotion of the Whitney, the first without Mary Lou Whitney, all the stakes racing yesterday, and now still looking ahead to the first ever Saratoga Derby and the continuation of this turf trinity, wondering if Henley's Joy can take the next step.
This is obviously one of the greatest weekends to be in Saratoga, with the sale coming up and the Whitney and the test and all the other big races, and now you add in the fun turf series for the fillies and for the colts. If you've never been to Saratoga, you should smack yourself on the hand for that. But if you've never been, my advice would be this would be the weekend that I would target if and when you want to plan a trip. Travers is great.
Travers is amazing.
But there's some, I love this weekend having the sale, and it's good. And if you, here's what I'm doing, I'm tricking you. If you come to the Whitney and you have fun, you'll love it so much you'll come back to the Travers. See what I did there?
You just see? Maybe just stay all the way through. Look at it. She's going to get a chance to see the race there from Dad's shoulders. Again, this big crowd this afternoon. You mentioned the sales. Our thanks to Walker Hancock for joining us earlier from Claiborne. And I think you got interrupted earlier with the horse you really like in the 11th.
In the 11th, that's the last, right? Yeah, good grievance, or good governance. Good governance. Good governance.
Brown, Ortiz, Klarovich.
Yeah.
I mean, any other reason to like him?
Yeah, it's like the top of the trader standings, top of the owner standings, and second in the rider standings.
It's so hard, though. But even if you like a horse in a contentious race like Good Governance, who is 4-1 and maybe deserves to be 4-1, you know darn well you're not getting 4-1 because of the human element.
No, it's tough. You know, obviously making a morning line is a thankless job, and I don't even really understand why people care.
I told the morning line oddsmaker that yesterday.
It's thankless because you can't be right, and all you can do is be wrong. And who cares if you are right? And why does it really matter if you're wrong anyway? It doesn't matter.
The
it makes
offensive lineman of Thoroughbred Racing. And they talk about you when you give up a sack, when there's a flag thrown at you for holding, right? This morning line, though, you had Final Frontier, who was 5-2 on the morning line, and I believe was favored at post time. Larry Comas with the call. They're almost loaded and all set to go for the 7th start of the late pick 5 from Saratoga.
They're off. And it's Battle Station out quickly for the lead. Joined on the inside by Tiber. Avino Volcano is right there, and then comes Final Frontier down on the inside, and Ghoul is going up in between horses as they head up the backstretch. Now it's Ghoul who grabs the front. Final Frontier is running in second by a length and a half. Then Battle Station on the outside, Tibber, Vino Volcano farther out, I'm Corfu. Paligacci is down on the inside. And then it's back to Adonis Creed, Shiny Copper Penny, and last of them all is Stolen Pistol. 21.49, a flashy opening quarter mile for Ghoul and Final Frontier were locked in battle on the far turn. 4 lengths ahead of Tibber running in third. And then to the outside, it's Battle Station in fourth. And they're into the stretch. Final Frontier inside of Ghoul. It's still these two. Final Frontier trying to shake away here with a furlong to run. Ghoul is second. On the outside, Paligacci is closing in. Then comes Adonis Creed and Stolen Pistol finishing fast on the outside. But Final Frontier's going to do it. And do it by 2.5 lengths on the wire. Over Paligacci, Stolen Pistol, and Adonis Creed.
Not betting him next time because he wins every other race. And following that pattern, Final Frontier delivers, and Jonathan's 2 horses he used in this leg of the late pick 5 run 1-2.
Should have bet the exacta.
I don't want to hear any complaining. No complaining. Final Frontier at 5-2, and that comfortable trip on the inside. Jose Lezcano hand riding him so confidently through the stretch.
He was very confident. Actually, for a second, he got a little too confident for me. I was nervous. I wanted him to go on with it. He looked like he had a ton of horse and open up. But then I wasn't too worried when Pagliacci was coming with him, so I knew I was safe. Great trip by both of them. Saving ground on the inside. Saving ground in turf races means the world, and especially when you have tactical horses like those two and Final Frontier especially.
The hand ride from Lezcano, a tap on the shoulder. Final Frontier responds, still with a stick uncocked. Jose Lezcano shows him the stick. Never had to reach back. The Belmont champion jockey at the spring summer meet had a couple of wins yesterday. Jose Lezcano, another one here. The favorite in the first leg of the late pick 5, Final Frontier over Pagliacci. 1-2-4-8 unofficial in race number 7. It's a good performance.
Very good. And it's probably important to note that Stolen Pistol ran well off of the break. And maybe we'll see that one again soon.
Maybe. Yeah. Winning trainer, Tom Albatrani, standing by live with Maggie.
And a horse that he's been can't talk today in the rush here, Tommy, but having to be patient with Final Frontier. But today he was ultra impressive. Down on the inside, battled the whole way, and then Louis had so much left in the tank.
He was very impressive today, as he was 2 back when we shortened him up at Aqueduct. And he's a full brother to Better Luck. He was one of my other favorite horses. So there's a lot of potential here. I think we're going to see some really good things from him in the future. So it was just great win today.
Well, Tommy, congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Better Lucky, she was a winner on the turf and in dirt sprints, guys, at the highest level.
Quality, Colt, yeah. Maggie, thanks so much. Final Frontier for Tom Albatrani and Godolphin in a 1-2-4-8 unofficial order of finish. Still awaiting those prices for this race number 7. And still coming up, Saratoga Derby. Second leg of the Turf Trinity. Henley's Joy, 20-1 when he won that Belmont Derby. You're not getting that price today, 4-1 drawn inside. But the favorite, Rock Emperor, 7-2 for Chad Brown.
I'm excited. Look, Rock Emperor, I think, deserves to be the favorite, but he got a great trip last time. I know it doesn't look like it. There's a little bit that he kind of ran up on heels in the stretch, but I don't think he really lost any momentum. I think Johnny did a phenomenal job giving him the trip that he did.
Look at how far back
he is. Now it should be easier down on the inside.
Henley's Joy, great trip. No traffic, which had been a problem throughout the course of his career. Digital Age, saving ground. And Rock Emperor last, turning for home.
This is an unbelievable move he took right here.
And that's how you cut the corner, by the way.
He came right out. Here's where he had the little
He's going to get bumped here.
I just didn't think it cost him the race at all. Social Paranoia is the sneaky one to me because he's going to be forward. He creates his own trip. He's drawn inside, and he just kind of keeps running around there while the rest of them are going to need to get lucky and get a trip.
You had 14 in the Belmont Derby. Maybe traffic won't be such an issue for Rock Emperor. Not that he had that much, but 11 going in the Saratoga Derby with $1 million purse. Later this afternoon, middle leg of the Turf Trinity on FS1, the first ever running of the Saratoga Derby. Results are in. Final Frontier 5-2 at post time. Jonathan, you advance in this late pick 5.
Whew. It would have been a very rough show without it.
Jonathan would have just left. The Turf Trinity continues. The Saratoga Derby on FS1 on this terrific Sunday of racing and winding down week 4 at Saratoga. We'll see about Henley's Joy, the spoiler in the first leg of this Turf Trinity, and 20-1 in that Belmont Derby, 4-1 in the Saratoga Derby later on this afternoon. So again, switch on over to FS1, live coverage of the Saratoga Derby from the Spa.
With the exception of Frankel, Air Force Blue is Timeform's highest-rated juvenile in nearly 20 years. He was a 3-time Grade 1 winning champion juvenile.
Air Force Blue. Air Force Blue. A really good horse.
His first weanlings have sold for up to $210,000.
In the back, $210,000. Ralph, thank you.
He's Warfront's best juvenile from a family of champions. A force on the track, a force in the ring. Air Force Blue.
That time at Oaklawn, win a home run. Made for a big night. Bet on your favorite teams at Oaklawn's new race and sports book. Oaklawn, a new level of action, a new level of excitement.
The thermal spring waters our city is named after are known for their legendary healing properties. Their thirst-quenching properties are pretty nice, too. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's different here. Come see why.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
There's so much to see and do when you're at Saratoga. We're here in the backyard right now, and here you can take a sip from the Big Red Spring. You can go to the paddock, take a look at the horses, and you can also check out the brand new America's Best Racing tent, where you have people every Saturday who will show you how to bet, how to play the races, and we'll also show you the Stay Lucky app, which if you download here, you'll get a prize. So come join us every Saturday at Saratoga.
We are all familiar with horse racing's Triple Crown. After a 37-year drought, the longest in horse racing history, twice in a 4-year span, American Pharoah and Justify became the 12th and 13th horses to sweep the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes. This year, a new series was born, a turf triple, with each leg worth $1 million. After Henley's Joy delivered a 20-1 upset to kick off the series in the Belmont Derby last month, today, the top 5 finishers return, along with a fresh cast of characters, all with worthy credentials. Today on Saratoga Live, it's the middle jewel of the inaugural Turf Trinity in the Saratoga Derby.
They're off at Saratoga.
Welcome to Saratoga Live, and welcome to upstate New York in beautiful Saratoga Springs at the premier race meet in the country. Our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. There is nothing quite like summer in Saratoga. You step back in time when you visit this historic track in a town that eats, sleeps, and breathes horse racing. Hello, everybody. I am Greg Wolf, and great to have you with us here at Saratoga. Today, it is leg 2 of the newly created Turf Triple Series, the Trinity Division. And in leg 1, we had quite an upset, showcasing the best 3-year-old turf runners in the country. It was Henley's Joy at 20-1. He's not scared anybody away here in round 2 as we get set for the Saratoga Derby. Joining me here on set, Hall of Fame jockey who's won quite a few Grade 1s here at Saratoga, Gary Stevens, Kentucky Oaks winning trainer, one of the top trainers in the country. Tom Amos and Henley's Joy. He had a lot of things go wrong in the races leading up to the Belmont Derby. Everything went perfect for him, including the trip that day.
Yeah, got a great trip and a great ride from Jose Lascano. And I expect him to get the same kind of trip today. He's a handy horse, and he's quick leaving the gate.
He is indeed. He's very tactical, this horse is. And if he can use that again today and be tactically placed against what I think will be a quicker pace, you might see the same result.
This is a look at the schedule. Of course, the Saratoga Derby today at 1 mile and 3/16, and the third and final leg, that Jockey Club Derby, September 7th. That will be contested at 1.5 miles, all the same distances that you see in the 3 same races in the American Dirt Classic. So here is Henley's Joy. This was the first leg of the series back on July the 8th in the Belmont Derby, 1.25 miles. And Jose Lezcano, he was aggressive early and got great position.
Yeah, he got great position, laying third all the way around there. He was able to cut the corner, slip to the outside, and he really hits another gear in this last 100 yards.
He does, and that's what you like in a turf horse. A turf horse that can finish on the end. Henley's Joy has that burst that's noticeable to the naked eye. That's what makes him so good.
Drawn inside. He has post position 1 this afternoon. That a good spot for this horse?
It's a great spot. He's got a speed horse right outside of him that can lead him into that first turn. I'm sure that horse will clear, or just after the first turn, he might drop back a little bit, but he's in a great position.
So Henley's Joy trying to go back-to-back and stay alive for a series sweep. 4-1 on the morning line in this second leg of the Turf Trinity. Again, a new series created this year. He is not your morning line favorite in that race. That is the 4-horse Rock Emperor, who of course is trained by Chad Brown. A little interesting, he's not your favorite, but whenever there's the Chad Brown factor, expect that to be the case, especially here at Saratoga, as we check in with Lafitte Pinkai.
Yeah, Greg, that's the thing with Henley's Joy being 20-1 in the Belmont Derby, pulling off the upset on that afternoon. You're not getting that price today. But yeah, he's not the favorite. As I welcome in my co-host here in the paddock, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Also Jonathan Kinchin, the 2015 NHC Tour winner. So yeah, you turn to Chad Brown. Rock Emperor, the favorite at 7-2. Why is he the favorite in the Saratoga Derby?
I mean, it's very hard for a horse to go from 20-1 to go down to favoritism in the next start. Got a very good trip. He's still going to be a relatively short price, but the Chad Brown factor and the fact that the horse Rock Emperor almost overcame an outside post.
Yeah, and I think Rock Emperor's the way that he did what he did in the last race has probably had a lot to do with why he's the morning line favorite, and deservingly so. He ran pretty well.
He did run well, and I think, though, you and I are of the opinion, and we saw the ride, that he got a very, very great ride. The rider saved ground the whole way. He was on the rail in there and just easily got out to the outside of the clear, and that's the best way for a closer to run, saving ground the turns and getting outside in the clear. While a horse like Digital Age, the 13, who you can see splitting horses, he wasn't able to get that outside clear run. I think both you and I think maybe the outside clear run could turn the tables for him today.
I agree. I think that his trip was the one that you want to bet back. He was the one that was down inside, shuffling around in there.
Rock Emperor, and part of it is for a morning line odds maker, they're not just telling you who they think is going to win, they're telling you where they think the money's going to go.
A morning line maker who's a bettor could make a horse 20-1 morning line and bet on the horse. He's right if the horse goes off at 20-1. He's trying to predict how the public plays.
And the point, trained by Chad Brown, who was absolutely dominant in last summer's meet, and I don't know that we've seen that kind of dominance here at Saratoga. So competitive typically, but here he is running away with things early again.
Things are going so well today, he got placed first in a disputed DQ.
Slightly disputed, sure. Aidan O'Brien also represented. It is in an international affair, so Acacia Courtney earlier today at the Quarantine Barn.
The inaugural running of the Saratoga Derby has attracted international attention with trainer Aidan O'Brien, heralded as one of the greatest trainers in the world, shipping 2 horses over in Cape of Good Hope and Mohawk. It's not an easy travel coming from Aidan's Ballydoyle Training Center, state-of-the-art facility in Ireland. They fly over here to the United States, travel to Saratoga Racecourse, where they then have to clear quarantine before going into this isolation barn, which is about a 20-minute walk to the paddock here at Saratoga. Horses shipped in early, both got a chance to stretch their legs and get acclimated to the track here at Saratoga. Now, trainer Aidan O'Brien has shipped a lot of horses over to the United States and had great success, but he is 0 for 6 here at Saratoga. Did run second on Friday in the Saratoga Oaks with Happen, and we'll see if today he'll get his first Saratoga victory.
Acacia, thank you. Well, Aidan O'Brien, he's won just about every big race the world over with the exception of the American Dirt Classics. Of course, he's won the Breeders' Cup Turf 6 times in his career, most recently with Highland Reel. He has a full brother to Highland Reel showing up at the race this afternoon in Cape of Good Hope. So we'll see if he can break through here at Saratoga this afternoon. He also has Mohawk in the race as well.
Yeah, Mohawk is a horse that we're going to talk about a little later, but I think in with a really good chance this afternoon.
2 chances to try and get off the duck here at Saratoga for arguably the best trainer in the entire world. Want to remind everybody today only, you can get a $20 instant free play to bet the races by joining Naira Bets with promo code FREE20. Use your $20 free play to bet hundreds of tracks worldwide, including Saratoga, on the Naira Bets app or your computer. Naira Bets is available nationwide, and getting started is easy. Go to nairabets.com/free20 for all the details. We're going to take a break in the action. After some bad racing luck in previous starts, Henley's Joy got a perfect trip in his Belmont Derby score. Can he back it up and keep his attempt at the series sweep alive? We'll be back.
I just bought the Runhappy filly out of Nth. Great female family, from the family of Bound and Number. Doesn't get any better than that, and just feel real fortunate to have had the opportunity to purchase her for Jerry Bach and Selective Stable. Started working the sale several days early and came through, and every time I looked at her, she kept showing herself really well, and seems like a filly that has got a lot of upside and certainly a big chance of being a top race filly.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NAIRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
Back on Saratoga Live here on Fox Sports 1, our show brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Not just the Saratoga Derby coming up, we also have the 8th race that will kick off a late pick for. It is on the inner turf. New York Breds, first allowance condition, traveling 1 mile and 1/16th, and the meet's leading trainer, Chad Brown, sending out our current favorite here, Chiclet's Dream from Post 8, with more on this field. Let's go to Lafitte.
Bonus coverage, Greg, and a live look at number 12, Summer Squeeze. But you touched on Chiclet's Dream for trainer Chad Brown. The one win in the 7 races, but this is the Chad Brown factor, Andy. 2-1 on the morning line. If you like Chiclet's Dream going in, he's getting crushed and now 8-5.
I don't particularly like her going in, though she can win. When you see a Chad Brown horse, and I think Jonathan's going to agree with this, that has 7 starts, 1 win, 4 seconds, and 2/3 at short prices every time, you've got a horse that isn't really as good as her odds. And last time out, she ran a very strange race. Looked like she was almost pulling herself up and out of the race. race, and then she came back and almost won. But I wonder, Jonathan, I'm curious your opinion. I think she's better going shorter than longer, and today it's a mile and a 16th.
Yeah, the last race was 7 furlongs, and she did run good. I guess the one positive is that she has won on this inner turf course that can be a little bit tricky because it's tighter turns, and some horses care for that and some don't. But we talk about it day in and day out here at Saratoga. If you can beat Chad Brown here, the value in that is better than any other place because he's such a big favorite here all the time because he wins.
The morning line favorite later on in the Saratoga Derby. Nice long look at a long shot. Discreet image getting back to Chicklet's Dream. Promise she's in the paddock. I promise she's out there somewhere. The question I have for you, Andy, the one win was a blowout. 8 lengths, right? Does she need, is that how she has to win? In other words, when push comes to fight, is she going to survive a fight, or does she need to just absolutely
be
smoke
able to,
her competition?
It's a good question. That was an extraordinarily weak field. I mean, you see she paid $2.90 for a $2 bet. It wasn't so much that she ran well as much as she was running against no competition whatsoever. And she has significant competition in this race, including a couple horses that Jonathan and I are interested in, the 2 and 13.
Chicklet's Dream favored at 8-5 with 11 minutes out for this allowance condition event on the turf course. Turf course listed as firm. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Have riders up on a post parade shortly. There is Way Smart, and the meet's leading jockey will be aboard, Jose Ortiz.
The name of the game in turf racing is saving ground. Down on the inside, this horse should sit right in the pocket. It's the area sitting right behind the horses that are leading, and I think this horse could get lucky and save all the ground here and get a great trip. Now, I know you like the 13. I do as well. If they flipped, I would be on your horse.
No, I agree with you. Way Smart, though, is another horse not dissimilar to Chicklet's Dream in that she's been a short price in most of her races, and she's just 1 for 8 with a couple of seconds and a third. I agree with everything you're saying. Now, she is coming off a long layoff. She hasn't run for over 8 months, but her trainer, Jimmy Bond, won with a horse off a long layoff yesterday, and he is having an absolutely sensational meet. His horses are just running.
That sometimes it happens in horse racing. It's almost like a lineup in baseball where hitting becomes contagious. The same thing can happen in horse racing when a barn just gets hot and all the horses start running well.
It's true for trainers, it's true for riders, and it's true for bettors. When things are going well, you seem to make every right little adjustment.
See how this all unfolds in 10 minutes. Runhappy Travers Stakes you can catch on Fox August 24th, the Midsummer Derby featuring the finest 3-year-olds in the country, the Travers, right on Fox August 24th. With riders up and horses making their way front side of post parade very shortly, still 9-5 on Chicklet's Dream for trainer Chad Brown.
I don't like the price right now of 4-1 on my 13 horse Little Faith because I agree with what Jonathan said. You've got to make your own trip, and they come to the turn relatively quickly in this race, and they're going to John Velasquez, I believe, Roddy's going to have to find a way to tuck in, but a Little Faith was extremely impressive, breaking her maiden first time out.
Yeah, he has the Hall of Famer, John Velasquez, hands full trying to negotiate a trip from that outside post, and there he is.
And as you'll see soon, Johnny did just that on Rock Emperor, who we'll see a little bit later in the Saratoga Derby.
John Velasquez there, a Little Faith, 4-1. Actual second choice in the wagering. Part of what makes Saratoga so special, gentlemen, it's the proximity. The fans and the stars of the sport. You can see how close they are as the horses go through that gauntlet. The fans get to be that much closer to the horses and the interaction with the jockeys as well.
No question. One of the things when I was a kid coming to Saratoga, I used to get right on the fence and watch them in the paddock and come out, and it's just thrilling to be that close to the action.
And a terrific weekend of racing, a big crowd on hand. The Hall of Fame induction yesterday here in Saratoga. 2 terrific Grade 1 races. The Whitney yesterday, and maybe the race of the meet in the test featuring top class 3-year-old filly sprinters. And now this first ever Saratoga Derby and the middle leg of the Turf Trinity. Can Henley's Joy take that next step? First things first, post parade for race number 8. There you're looking at Moyne Spun drawn inside at 14-1.
On paper, she's way too slow, but she is off the claim for Brad Cox, who is tremendous off the claim.
Way Smart, number 2, Contender.
Comes in off a 246-day break. I think this one's going to get a great trip down on the inside.
Number 3, Star of the East, sired by a Travers winner in Medaglia d'Oro.
She's coming off a maiden win for trainer Brian Lynch, but she too is going to have to be faster to win a race like this.
Number 4, Noble Jewel for Blue Devil Racing.
Stretching out, she'll at least be a pace contributor.
She's 16-1. Another long shot. Love and Love, 1 win in 5 starts thus far.
Yeah, she just appears on paper to be significantly overmatched for a very good trainer, underrated Mike Maselli.
Discreet Image for David Donk. The 5-year-old mare is 34-1.
Kendrick Carmouche holds the keys, in my opinion, to this pace scenario. If he goes, there could be 3 horses going on the front end.
Aggressive jockey Kendrick Carmouche, already with 1 wire-to-wire win on the program. There's Let Me Have It.
Let Me Have It's actually an interesting long shot. The dam was a turf winner, and she could possibly improve in the turf at a big price.
And the favorite, Chicklet's Dream for Chad Brown, 2-1 morning line, 8-5, 7 minutes to post.
The theme of Saratoga, to bet on Chad or to try to beat him. I don't know what's going to happen with this one, but the price is a little short.
The question for the handicappers in this 8th race, Ascender pictured at 56-1 would be a shock.
Yeah, she's another horse that yet just appears to be a little bit over her head.
How about Rumor Driven, also trained by Chad Brown, but you're getting 9-1.
9-1 on Chad Brown means that there's probably a reason for that. This horse, about 5 works back, worked with a horse by the name of Masha on the turf course. That pairing is interesting to me.
Masha, very good French filly trained by Chad Brown. Summer Squeeze at 10-1.
This horse has a chance. I just worry that there's no way this one's going to get a good trip. Not very fast from a tactical standpoint.
And the same concern about A Little Faith. Andy, who you like going in with John Velasquez?
Overcame an extremely slow pace to run an very, very fast final quarter mile to win her debut, what I think was a better effort than it looks on paper.
And that is the field for this 8th race at Saratoga. 6 minutes out, you're looking at the leading jockey, Jose Ortiz. He will ride Way Smart, currently 5-1. The 8th from Saratoga, next on Saratoga Live.
What constitutes a promising stallion? Speed? He's still the fastest tappet ever around 2 turns. Pedigree? He's got the strength of the founding fathers, top and bottom. And he's passing that strength on. With a graded stakes winner and 2 TDN Rising Stars from his first crop, he's one of the leading freshman sires in the country. Constitution. He's the son of Tappet we've all been waiting for.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code SPA at NairaBets.com.
We're back on Saratoga Live. The New York Racing Association welcomed many of the game's top riders back to Saratoga today for the 6th annual Jockey Legends Day. To take a look at one of the greats of all time and most popular of all time, Angel Cordero Jr. Of course, our partner Gary Stevens, part of the festivities as well.
Yeah, I had a great day today. I've never laughed so hard. My cheeks hurt. We sat down first time in the 1863 Club this afternoon, and a great lunch, and just a lot of old stories. That was Sandy Hawley right there. That's Herb McCauley, Lafitte Pinkai, some of the greatest names in the game. And there was a lot of wins in that room. I can tell you that.
And I'm sure a lot of those stories you probably can't repeat on air.
No,
right?
I can't. I cannot. That is for sure.
These guys signed autographs. Suggested donations went to support the permanently disabled jockeys fund. So all for a great cause. But always good to see the greatest of all time get together and share some autographs with the fans as well. We're going to check in for the first time today with one of the best in the business at evaluating horse flesh for more on this 8th race. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Greg, thank you so much. And out here on the track, watching these horses warm up, got to look at them as well in the paddock aboard my trusty steed, Lucas here. Want to talk about a long shot, and that's number 3, Star of the East. She's coming in off of a maiden score, so she's won a race, and she's finally pairing some races back to back. It's not her fault she hasn't made it to the races that often. She's reigned off several times in her career. She looks utterly fabulous, and the fittest I've seen her look in her career so far for Brian Lynch. I'm looking for her to take a step forward off of that maiden victory. And then we'll take a look at the outside runner. That is number 13, A Little Bit of Faith. Well, she's only had one start, and it was a win, and it was a visually impressive win, as you heard Andy Serling talking about as well. Now, difference of warm-ups. Last time when Javier Castellano rode her, she warmed up by herself. She was very relaxed and well within herself. She's a beautiful mover, and we still saw that here today. But Johnny sensed that she was a little bit wound up, so kept her with the pony. We see his legs out of the stirrups right now. That's what a lot of jockeys do to try to keep a horse calm. So she's a little more on it than what she was in that debut, because now, Greg, she knows what's going on as they head to the gate.
Maggie, thank you. Well, she is the least experienced filly in this field, and that's as a result of winning first time out. Now, Gary, she's going to be all the way on the outside. Is that an issue here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, she was forwardly placed last time in slow pace, but it's basically what she's going to get here. The fact that she's getting a little wound up, that's the Candy ride coming out. I rode her daddy, and he was hot-blooded horse, some of the offspring, but the second time, sometimes they can get a little wound up, just like Maggie said, because they know what's going on. But I think Johnny can get a decent position with this filly, being that she's a little more wound up today. But it's going to all be about getting that good position and being able to save ground going into the turn. I think he can.
Tom, meanwhile, with the 8 Chiclet Stream, still our favorite, came back off a 7-plus month layoff, then another 3-month layoff. And as we heard from Andy, could be a little quirky when she runs.
Yeah, but, you know, now she's 4 years old, so she's a full-grown horse now, as opposed to some of those races back when she was 3. And her race, her most recent race back in May, very, very good. I think good enough to beat this group.
Chiclet Stream from post 8, stepping in for the meet's leading trainer. Chad Brownie has doubled up the rest of the trainers here at the meet. Can he add another one? It would be his 3rd winner on the afternoon. The 6-5 favorite is the filly by City Zip. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call with race 8 from Saratoga. Here's Larry Colmus.
Summer Squeeze has moved into the starting gate. Love and Love, the next one. Discreet Image moves in, and just waiting now for A Little Faith to complete the line. A Little Faith and John Velasquez coming up to this outside stall. And they go in. They're all in line. They're off. Discreet Image is sent out of there with early speed, and Noble Jewel goes with her. On the inside, Moine Spun is 3rd and taken back off the top 2 as A Little Faith goes up on the far outside, racing toward that first turn. Then it's Love and Love in between horses. And on the outside, Summer Squeeze is next. Way Smart saves all the ground. Summer Squeeze went wide. So too did Let Me Have It. And back on the inside is Star of the East, who was 3rd last early, ahead of Rumor Driven and Ascender at the rear of the field. Discreet Image ran 24.24 for the quarter, has onto the backstretch in front. The leader by a length and 3/4 over Noble Jewel, running in 2nd position. A Little Faith is 3rd on the outside. Moine Spun follows in 4th by another 2. Then Chiclet's Dream outside of Love and Love, and Way Smart on the inside as they continue their journey up the backstretch. Break of 2 to Star of the East. Let Me Have It. Summer Squeeze outside of them. Then Rumor Driven and Ascender. 49.15 was the half for long shot Discreet Image, who heads for the far turn in front. A 2-length lead here over Noble Jewel entering the far turn. And getting going now is a Little Faith, third on the outside. Moin Spun is next. Chicklet Stream's got 5 to make up. She's running on from the back of the pack as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Catching up to Discreet Image. Noble Jewel runs up alongside. A Little Faith is outside of them. Moin Spun in behind horses. Chicklet Stream is coming, and so too is Way Smart. And these two are moving side by side on the outside. Chicklet Stream, Way Smart, Discreet Image. A Little Faith is right in it too, but it is Way Smart on the outside who takes the lead. And it's Way Smart to go on and win over A Little Faith in a photo with Chicklet Stream for second. And then it was Discreet Image on the wire with Noble Jewel and Star of the East.
Way Smart with the win, meets leading rider, collects his second win here on the afternoon, Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, and he's pushing all the right buttons right now, getting smooth trips, good trips, and finishing strong.
Yeah, you know, the pace was actually pretty ordinary, Gary. For those horses to finish up against this pace, that's a little bit different than what we've been seeing as far as pace structure goes. But Way Smart hasn't run since December. Well prepared today by Harold James Bond.
Yeah, they were walking early on, and there were 3 or 4 horses that steadied hard going into the first turn. Again, going into the last turn, and he was weaving his way, the winner, in and out of traffic, and gets to the outside. Everybody, all the trouble inside, and just zipped past him.
So no doubt about a win. Way Smart with a victory there. Again, meets leading rider Jose Ortiz, collects another, and a good effort from the second place finisher, A Little Faith, who had just one start coming in. Looks like she is able to get second over Chicklet Stream.
Yeah, very good effort, because actually Little Faith, that's the horse we watched warm up. It was a little bit antsy. Didn't leave the gate that well. Had to catch up, cost her position going into the first turn. For Little Faith to still run this kind of race, the 13 horse, that is a horse to watch back when she runs again.
Well, let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Here with the meets leading rider, Jose Ortiz, aboard Way Smart today. Jose, she was coming off a long layoff. I noticed you gave her an aggressive warm-up, and she fired for you.
Yeah, I mean, all the credit to Mr. Bond that have it ready. Yeah, warm up good. I made sure I get a good position, but I mean, it was a rough trip around there. I had to check a couple of times, but I ended up swinging to the outside, and she gave me a great run.
Now, Jose, coming up in a little bit, you'll be aboard Kadar, a horse who is a big price on the morning line for trainer Mike Maker, but coming in off of one effort in the States, puts blinkers on your first time on him. I know I spoke to Mike Maker, and he was fairly high on this long shot.
Yeah, they like him. They think he's a nice horse, and I mean, I don't look at the odds. I just kind of ride him to win, and I just appreciate the opportunity Phoenix Thoroughbred gave me to ride him, and my Maker. I'm going to try my best.
And that's why you're the meets leading rider. Jose, congratulations here. Best of luck in the next.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll see if he can get that long shot home. Kadar coming up in the Saratoga Derby.
Maggie, thank you. You got a quick look there at the winning trainer, James Bond, as well, who had a tremendous Belmont meet. It is carried over here. There he is to Saratoga as well. And this one wins off the bench in her 5-year-old debut. 27 victories now at the meet, and 2 today for the meet's leading rider, Jose Ortiz. Well, the jockey colony here at Saratoga, it is without equal. The game's best come here to compete. But for the last 4 years, the Ortiz brothers, they have had a stranglehold on the riding title, with either Irad or his younger brother Jose, who you just saw win, taking home top honors. Those two, who also happen to be the last 2 Eclipse Award winners as outstanding rider in the country, well, they are once again up to their usual antics here. 1-2 on the leaderboard at Saratoga.
I am Irad Ortiz.
Jose Ortiz.
We are professional jockeys. My brother and I always want to be a jockey, and we both started when I was 16. We started in the jockey school.
And Irad Ortiz Jr. let Summer Revolution roll, and Summer Revolution is pouring it on.
My favorite part of being a jockey is winning.
Sweetgrass and Jose Ortiz coming home strong and coming home a 6-length winner.
The best part of being a jockey is be around horses. I mean, that's my dream, and you know, I love the sport.
When we were kids, we used to watch the Kentucky Derby all the time.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
My brother and I, we are both happy because we are the third pair of brothers that ride the Kentucky Derby, and we are very, very proud of that. We always like to watch replays and try to get better every day and correct some mistakes that we did in the days.
My brother and I enjoy being a jockey, but we also love play PlayStation at night.
The highlight of my career so far being win the Belmont Stakes.
And Creator, these two come down to the line together. And Iran Ortiz raised his whip in victory.
Jose Ortiz in the Belmont Stakes. His brother won it last year. He did it today. Jose Ortiz.
So who's the better jockey?
Well, these two young brothers, they are just ultra talented. Irad Ortiz, he won 5 races on Wednesday. He was the first to win 5 races at this meet since his younger brother, Jose, accomplished it back in August of 2017.
Yeah, these kids are phenoms. They were phenoms when they started out, and they continued to improve, and they continue to just hone their skills every day. They put on clinics out there. They've got everything. They've got patience, they've got strength, and they've got finesse. So it's fun to watch them. They're very humble. When I go into the jocks room, just very polite, and they're competitors. One thing I can tell you is I competed against my older brother, Scott, from the time I started until the time I ended. We drove each other. We were best friends, but we loved beating each other out on the racetrack, and I think these two kids are the same way.
Well, it was Jose Ortiz who won that Eclipse Award, and then Irad, he talked to his agent and said, what do I need to do to be on that stage as well to win an Eclipse Award? The very next year, it was Irad's turn. Pretty incredible.
Very incredible.
Well, back in the last race, Jose Ortiz, he notches another one here. Number 27 of the meet for him is Way Smart. And what a job as well, Tom, here from the James Bond barn to get this mare ready off the bench to win here in her first start of 2019.
They did indeed. Hasn't run since December, and that was a pretty easy win, Greg. I mean, I don't think he even went to his riding crop till he's just passing horses just to keep her attention. But a horse that sure looks like she can move forward off that win. You're talking about the Ortiz brothers, and one other note. When Jose Ortiz won the Kentucky Oaks for me, the biggest race at Churchill Downs other than the Kentucky Derby, he went back to his hotel room, had Popeye's fried chicken, and went to sleep, and got ready for work the next day. That's the great thing about these two kids. They want to work, and they're all about racing and nothing else.
Competitive, dedicated, they love what they do, and they're just getting better and better, which is a really scary thought because they're already so good, but they got a long way to go being so young. Our big one is next, the middle jewel of this Turf Trinity division, the Saratoga Derby, worth $1 million, and Rock Emperor, current favorite for trainer Chad Brown, but that will be the mount of Irad Ortiz Jr., another Chad Brown runner who had previously been undefeated with Irad in the irons the last couple of starts, then wound up 4th in the Belmont Derby. Can he rebound and get back in the winner's circle? Chad Brown with 2 big chances to deliver the Saratoga Derby coming up here on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 1. We'll be back. Stick with us. Our main event is coming up.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guy's win of the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
By Eclipse champion sprinter Runhappy. This remarkable colt is out of a stakes-placed full sister to Third Dawn, a stakes winner and runner-up in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks. Look for hip number 116 at the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Storylines we've been following.
It's going to be a star-studded lineup.
They're not going to beat her.
Wouldn't spend $1 on her.
And we haven't gotten any argument yet.
Find yourself in the winner's circle here. It's the greatest feeling on earth.
Saratoga Live has you covered every race day, all summer long. There are a million reasons to play Saratoga, but NYRA Bets customers have a million more. NYRA Bets customers can earn a $1 million single ticket bonus on the Late Pick 5 at Saratoga. Join NYRA Bets to play the Late Pick 5 today. Visit nyrabets.com for details.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 1. Our show brought to you in part by the champion sprinter, Runhappy. He was something special. Never lost in his career while sprinting, and he did it all while racing medication-free. Win next summer here at Saratoga with a Runhappy in an open maiden race. $100,000 bonus on the way. That is the brand new facility here at Saratoga, the 1863 Club, $30 million facility, named to commemorate the first meeting here at Saratoga. Tremendous views of the entire racetrack, and it has been a fan favorite. Amazing they got it done in time. They broke ground on this facility September 4th of last summer, and they had it ready to go by opening day. I have not yet been able to spend time there.
It's a beautiful facility. Today was the first day that I was fortunate enough to go in there, as I'd said before, and the views are spectacular. You can go outside and go right up against the rail. Went out there, and Jose Lascano and who else was it? Rosario both came trotting by on the horses, and they did a double take. And, hey, what are you doing? I said, watching you, boys.
The benefits of
it's pretty cool.
Benefit of being a legend. They let you go anywhere here at Saratoga. You can have fun though anywhere.
I was there.
Here.
I was there today. Just so you know.
I was with you. I was right behind you. Yeah, with the cooler and the ice chest. But you can have fun absolutely anywhere at this racetrack, including in the backyard of the picnic tables. Let's check in with Acacia Courtney.
Here in the backyard with some people having a great time. I'm joined by Mo and Riley. And Riley, today is a very special day for you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be celebrating here in Saratoga?
Yes.
And Mo, this is your granddaughter. Tell us a little bit about what brings you out today for a very special celebration.
Well, we've been coming here for the past 4 or 5 years through the Doorsman's family, which is right over here. They bring us to the Saratoga racetrack, which is a wonderful, wonderful track. And we're having a lot of fun with the grandkids, and they just love it. They love the horses, they love the racing, they love the track, and we love it.
I love it too. We're happy to have you here, guys. Thank you so much, and happy birthday again, Riley. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Take care.
Gotta teach the grandkids to gamble. Get them started. The new blood, new fans here at Saratoga. All part of the experience, right? Speaking of which, let's see what the handicap in the gambling looks like for the Saratoga Derby Invitational. There are the current odds. Not a lot of faith in the Belmont Derby winner, Henley's Joy. 4-1 on the morning line, hanging up there at 8-1. The focus is on the Chad Brown trainees. He has two. Rock Emperor favored 2-1. Second choice is Digital Age at 4-1. Here is Digital Age. He was undefeated going into the Belmont Derby, suffered his first defeat, and that's the question today. How will he respond in the Saratoga Derby?
I think there are two questions with him, one sort of a positive and one a negative, as we talk about him. I know you and I agree, Jonathan, that he wants to get an outside run, and he figures to get it today unlike last time. But are you at all worried that maybe he's better going a little bit shorter? The mile and 3/16, mile and a quarter last time, is a bit farther than his best.
He was finishing last time, so to answer your question, I'm not too concerned, but I do understand why you would be concerned. He had those explosive performances going shorter, came up a little bit short, but I think there's a reason he came up short last time. He kind of got stuck in behind those horses, was weaving in and out through the stretch, zigging and zagging, taking away some momentum. I thought he finished just fine, and he gets a 16th of a mile shorter today.
The human element intact. Leading owners, Klarovich Stable. Leading trainer, Chad Brown. To be ridden by Irad Ortiz. Let's look at Rock Emperor, who is favored. There he is, 2-1. Do you expect him to be as far back as he was in the Belmont Derby? It almost felt like he lost contact with the field.
He's pretty slow early. I mean, that pace was pretty quick, but I think that the pace in here with a thread of blue, I don't think they're going to be walking up front in this race either. So I think he will be pretty far back. I don't know that it'll compromise him, but the question is, Jonathan, can he get a better trip than he got last time out?
I don't know. I don't think he can. I thought that trip was really good. I guess the best thing that could happen for him is he could get to the rail immediately in the first turn.
Right.
Last time he was in the three path for a little bit of the first turn. Then once they kind of got to the backside, he got down there on the far turn. He was on the rail.
But for a closer, he just got that easy come out. And sometimes you get into traffic.
Masterful tactician in the saddle will be John Velasquez. You know who's live on the tote board? Paddock is packed. So much excitement for this Saratoga Derby. Kadar for Phoenix Thoroughbreds opened up at 30-1, 13-1, 14 minutes to post.
This is a horse that screams, I want more distance. And I'm not even sure a mile and 3/16 is far enough for him. He might be better than a mile and a half. Jockey Club Derby at opening weekend at Belmont. But this horse, first time in the country, for trainer Mike Maker, and he's the other Mike Maker horse in here. He made a huge run, and Value Proposition, who won that race, is another one of those, like Digital Age, Tattersall purchased horses for Karovich and Chad Brown, who they think very highly of, and with more distance, this horse has a chance to be very good.
I agree with all the things you said. There's one additional thing, too. A lot of these horses that come from Europe, they come here for a couple of reasons. One is medication differences, also for firm ground. Didn't get firm ground that day, will get firm ground today. That could be another reason this horse moves up.
To be ridden by Jose Ortiz, his brother, Irad, riding Digital Age and standing by with Acacia.
Thanks, Lafitte. Irad, looking at this horse, Digital Age, you've gotten to get to know him really well in the last 3 starts, but you had the outside post last time. Tell me about that trip again in the Belmont Derby.
Belmont Derby, I think I was a little. We tried to break running. We don't break that good, so we have to save some ground. Then we have to move in a little earlier. And he still come running. He run a good race. I think he's gonna be better today.
He's handled every challenge that's come to him. How has he developed lately?
He's getting better and better every time he runs, and his mind is a little much better, much better right now. So we expect a very good race from him.
Irad, thank you. Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Let's check in with Maggie in the paddock here ahead of the Saratoga Derby.
Thank you, Acacia. We'll take a look at one of the Aidan O'Brien horses, the one making his stateside debut, and that's number 10, Mohawk. He'll get Lasix for this start. He comes off the back of a win in a Group 3 in Ireland. The company that this horse has kept in Europe has been pretty good. Too Darn Hot, Circus Maximus, Anthony Van Dyke. Those are some of the best turf horses, or I should say European horses, that you can come across. This guy has made a positive impression on me here in the paddock. Considering the ship, he's maintained his weight well, has an excellent disposition. Just kind of walked in here like he owned the place. Big swinging walk to him, ears up, just looking around, surveying the scene. I think he, of the European horses, of the 2 Aidan O'Brien horses, really deserves a mention here as he currently sits at 7-1. And then Kadar, as you guys were mentioning, taking some nibbles here on the board. One that I thought when he made his first start here in the United States, thought that he wanted more ground. Well, he gets it here today. He got that race into him, coming in off the back of a bit of a layoff. He is sharper as he puts those blinkers on. He was a little bit quiet and really laid back in that effort going back to July 18th here, and he kind of gave him a little bit of a kind of rear up and letting them know when they saddled him that he was much more ready for this effort here. He's really tucked up. I think he is a long shot, as I said, that has a big shot in here for the Mike Maker barn. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. Mike Maker has said this horse has become completely different, taking a huge move forward ever since that last start. Not sure if it's that start that woke him up or the blinkers on, but he's been training very forward. Hanley's Joy not getting any respect on the board. He is 9-1, the Belmont Derby winner. Can he go 2 for 2 in the Turf Trinity in round 2 for the best 3-year-old turf runners in the country? We'll be back.
Well, the amazing thing about our work was just how similar he is to Uncle Mo. He was able to win his debut at Keeneland in April, so a lot of precocity and size and strength and speed to go along with it. The thing that also stands out to me is just how Outwork stamps his foals. I mean, you can see the Uncle Mo in his babies. I think he's got a huge chance.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Helmsman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag, plus Preakness Stakes winner War of Will. And these recent group and graded winners: Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NYRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
August 24th, Saratoga's marquee event, the Travers, featuring the nation's finest 3-year-olds at the classic American racing distance of 1.25 miles. The Midsummer Derby, the Travers, August 24th on Fox. Maybe we'll have a chance to see the disqualified Kentucky Derby winner, the horse who crossed the wire in front. Maximum Security still not confirmed. Tax, Jim Dandy winner here, the local prep last week. Code of Honor for trainer Shug McGahee. He'll be fresh and dangerous.
Tacitus, game winner. We might actually be able to settle it on the racetrack.
A 3-year-old championship on the line, that Midsummer Derby, the Travers, August 24th. As the field here gets called front side for this first ever Saratoga Derby Invitational, the purse $1 million, second leg of the Turf Trinity. The upsetter of the Belmont Derby is cold on the board. Henley's Joy, 4-1 on the morning line. Now 8-1, Chad Brown has the favorite, Rock Emperor, and second choice, also trained by Chad Brown, Digital Age.
I think that they're underappreciating Henley's Joy, who's
Agreed.
A lot better than 8-1 in this race in talent.
Have a chance to see him here in the post parade. Owner Jeff Bloom, he said he was the unluckiest horse he had ever owned. So many bad trips, a lot of traffic. Finally, everything broke clear for him in the Belmont Derby. You saw what he was capable of, and there is Henley's Joy, the Belmont Derby spoiler.
Right, he ran very well when fourth 2 races back with a tough trip. His last race was no fluke.
Agree. Social Paranoia, a 16-1 Belmont Derby runner-up.
The question we keep asking ourselves, what trip are the 2 favorites, Rock Emperor and Digital Age, going to get? This horse is going to get a good trip.
He's a bit cold on the board, 10-1. A thread of blue, he will be on or near the lead.
If he's not on the lead, something went wrong in this race. Can he get the distance? Is he good enough?
Rock Emperor, morning line favorite, 7-2. Now 2-1, deep closing Irish Colt.
The 4 post is better than the 14. I thought he had a great trip last time, and he'll probably get a good one here today as well.
Little bump in the Belmont Derby. Number 5, Eons, has rattled off 4 straight.
Yeah, he's taking a big jump up in class.
Kedar, live, long shot, 30-1 morning line. Now 12-1, there he is.
Andy told you he wants more distance. I told you he wants firm ground. He also had a rough trip last time, missing the break, getting pinched back and having to come wide.
Hot rider in the saddle, Jose Ortiz. Pony list, there is Cape of Good Hope, first of 2 for Coolmore and Aidan O'Brien.
Lafitte keeps telling me how dangerous these horses are for Aidan O'Brien. I've yet to see it.
He's not buying it. Andy ain't buying it. Digital Age, looking to get another winning streak going.
Bobbing and weaving last time in the Belmont Derby, down on the inside. He should get an outside run here. Hopefully he can save some ground in the first turn.
Juddmont's Seismic Wave defeated Belmont Derby favorite.
I thought he had a perfect trip when he camped short 2 back and a good trip last time, and Digital Age just blew by him in the stretch.
Mohawk, second of 2 for Coolmore, Aidan O'Brien.
17 days ago this horse ran, then he has to fly all the way over from Europe. But 2 of his wins in his career came off a 9 days rest and 14 days rest. Out on the 17 will be a problem.
6-1. There's Flying Scotsman. How aggressive will he be ridden from the extreme outside by Ricardo Santana?
He could be a pace factor in this race. He had a very good race, a 2-year-old.
Longines, 5-minute warning, 5 minutes to post, Greg, until this first Saratoga Derby.
Lafitte, thank you very much. It's been a little surprising to this point. You know, when the series was created, everyone thought jokingly, well, it's going to be the Chad Brown Invitational. To this point, we've had 2 legs in the 3-year-old filly division. This first leg for the Colts, that has not been the case, but it looks like it could be a different story today.
I think we have to touch on the dynamics of this specific race, the second leg of the Trinity, the Saratoga Derby. Look, it's a much tighter racetrack than Belmont's wide sweeping turns. And it's 110 yards shorter, a football field shorter to the finish line than in the Belmont Invitational. Those things are going to come into play in this race. And for the come-from-behinders, which are our 2 favorites, Rock Emperor, the 4, and Digital Age, the 8, they had the potential to have some serious traffic issues in this race when they're trying to make their closing run.
Well, Aiden O'Brien, he is one of the best in the history of this sport, sending 2 in this race, including Mohawk, Gary, who we're looking at. And he actually raced against Rock Emperor. They were both in the French Derby, and just about a length separated them.
Yeah, I'll tell you about this horse, though, and the improvement he's made since then. He just won a race at Leopardstown. That was against his elders, and he ran 115 time for him. That's huge. All of the European horses, Rock Emperor, Kadar, and Cape of Good Hope, I mean, that's quite a bit better than any of them. It's not the Bible, but I use it as a tool when I was riding and when I'm doing my handicapping for these races. I keep an eye on this horse.
He also ran second to a horse named Circus Maximus, who would go on to win the St. James's Palace, one of the most prestigious Group 1s over the Royal Ascot. On the outside, you have one of the speeds of the race. We know the 3 wants to go, a Thread of Blue. And, Tom, it looks like Flying Scotsman wants to go as well.
Oh, I definitely think so. So Flying Scotsman, last time in the American Derby at Arlington, he was the favorite that day in that Grade 3 event. And he had a tough trip. Got bounced around out of the gate, made him very aggressive. He went to the front. He hadn't been out since November. When he started to tire at the end of that race, Flavian Pratt, that rode him that day, just kind of took care of him. And I think that race, his first race since November, moves him forward into this race today.
With more on the 2 runners who ran 1-2 in the first leg of this series, let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And they are being ignored, if you will, Greg, as we'll take a look at number 1, Henley's Joy. He did not get much warm-up whatsoever from Jose Lescano. He was a bit more keyed up in the paddock than what he was going back to that Belmont Derby, and it was kind of like Jose looking to get him to relax a little bit more. Now, they've jogged over to the backside and are making their way back over here to where the gate is set up for this mile and 3/16. But, you know, I'd like to get a little more warm-up into my horses than what I saw from Henley's Joy. Now, number 2, Social Paranoia. He got a great trip as well in that last start, but again, I thought he looked amazing in the paddock back at Belmont. He looks amazing once again out here on the racetrack at Saratoga. Look at the way he's moving. That's what I like to see from my horses. And 2, he's won that 3 back. He got a little hot and washy before that effort. And today, like last time, just good energy, not getting hot, looks phenomenal for trainer Todd Pletcher, as we'll check in with Acacia Courtney, who's in the grandstand.
Thanks, Maggie. I'm here with the owner of Henley's Joy, Jeff Bloom. And Jeff, a horse that cost just $50,000 now, a Grade 1 winner. What has it been like on this journey with Henley's Joy?
Pretty special, actually. You know, you hope that all the ones you pick out are going to turn out to be this good. But he's been special from the day he got going for us, and things have only gotten better, and hopefully that continues here today.
What were your emotions when he was just so game in the Belmont Derby to win the first leg of this series?
Over the top, because this is a horse that we had so many troubled trips with, and he's a horse that just never gives up. He keeps on fighting, and I was so happy for the horse to have him finally get a clean trip, make a crossover like that in such a big race. And look, it's a big deal to win a Grade 1, and they're not easy to win, so it was pretty special.
Jeff, thanks so much. Best of luck today.
Thank you so much.
Let's check in trackside on the set with Greg.
Well, Acacia, thank you. So there is Henley's Joy, Mike Maker. His trainer has said the game plan, the same as what we saw in the Belmont Derby, Gary. Get great position early. Don't want to see him on the lead, but they want to see him in striking position.
Look, I observed something about this horse. He won at Kentucky Downs. Kentucky Downs is a very undulating course, very European type track that's sort of over hill and over dale, and you need a very athletic horse to win over that racetrack. Guess what? He won there, and they need to be athletic on this turf course, and I think he is just from his maneuverability. He's not a big horse, but he's a quick horse, and he's very athletic, Tom.
No, I can go for that. You know, and as far as setup goes, the 3, a Thread of Blue, as well as our outside horse, the 11, Flying Scotsman, I think they go to the front, and Henley's Joy slips in right behind those 2. But be careful, because whenever there's a race where there are only 2 speed horses, if something happens with one, you better look out, because the other one's on a lone lead.
Well, we know Luis Saez, who is on the 3, a Thread of Blue, time and time again. He is ultra aggressive, dictates pace early on. He's been doing that this meet time and time again, so we know he wants to go. I would expect to see him out there, no question.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming out of the 10 mile where he set a 22-3 first quarter. It was just a length off of that. They're not going to need to go near that fast in this race. So I think he inherits the lead, although the outside horse is fast as well. I think he'll probably lay second. But if either one of these two horses gets loose on the lead without solid fractions, the way this turf course has been, it's been very fast. You can win on the lead here.
There is a look at Seismic Wave, trained by the Hall of Famer Bill Mott. He too ran in the Belmont Derby. He was 5th in that race, and Bill Mott said he was just a little dull that day. He certainly thinks we didn't see the best of him.
No, he has a great resume, and he was actually favored in the Belmont Derby, but coming from well back and watching his finish, it wasn't as good as some of the closers who are 2 favorites, the 4 Rock Emperor and Digital Age, who all were in the same race.
Yeah, I really thought he didn't really have a lot of excuse other than what Billy said, that maybe he was a little dull that day, but he saved all of the ground, and he just, as the form says, got out kicked.
There's Henley Joy, and that's why and how we got the name of our winner of the Belmont Derby. See if this one can keep the dream alive for these connections here with a series sweep. Moves in line at 6-1. Chad Brown with the favorite, Rock Emperor. Said he wished he could have had a little bit more time to prepare for that Belmont Derby. Had the horse in his care for just under a month, but now feels ready to go and expects we're going to see a big move forward. But Henley's Joy from the inside post trying to keep the sweep alive here in the Turf Trinity division. You're watching the Saratoga Derby on Fox Sports 1 as we send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus, for the call.
Rock Emperor moving into the starting gate here. Mohawk steps forward into line. Here's Eons, who will be second last to load, and the last one in will be Flying Scotsman. Flying Scotsman taking position in the outside stall, and they're all in line. They're off in the Saratoga Derby Invitational. A bit of a slow start for Kadar as a thread of blue goes out to the early lead. Social Paranoia second on the inside. There goes Flying Scotsman to the outside to grab second early on. And then it's Mohawk fourth on the far outside. Digital Age is right there between horses. Rock Emperor is there on the inside. And then comes Eons, followed by Henley's Joy, the Belmont Derby winner, who is 10 lengths off the lead and racing on the hedge going into that turn. Seismic Wave is outside of horses, then Cape of Good Hope and Kadar at the back of the pack. 23.62, the opening quarter mile for a thread of blue, who leads Flying Scotsman by 1.5 lengths in the run to the backstretch. Social Paranoia is third on the inside. Mohawk fourth outside of him. 1.5 lengths back to Digital Age, who races just to the outside of Rock Emperor. These two are side by side, 5 lengths from the front. And then it's Eons and a bit of traffic behind them. Seismic Wave is there on the outside. Then Henley's Joy down toward the inside, followed by Cape of Good Hope and Kadar. 48.54 was a thread of blues half mile. As the field enters the far turn, he's got a 2-length lead. Flying Scotsman on the outside follows in second. Social Paranoia third, saving all the ground into that turn. Then Mohawk. Digital Age is getting going inside of Mohawk now, within 3 lengths of the lead as they make their way around the far turn. And then it's Rock Emperor, followed by Seismic Wave on the outside. And making some progress is Cape of Good Hope, who's down toward the inside. They're into the stretch. A thread of blue is still there. Trying to take them all the way as Digital Age is closing. Cape of Good Hope is putting in a late bid toward the inside. Social Paranoia fights on between horses. A thread of blue trying to get another 1/16 of a mile. Digital Age running after him. A thread of blue is still there, and he's going to go all the way in the Saratoga Derby Invitational. Digital Age was second, and then it was Cape of Good Hope and Social Paranoia at a final time of 1:52.02.
Luis Saez, aggressive, gets to the front, goes gate to wire for the win in the Saratoga Derby on a thread of blue.
And they were solid fractions, 23 for the first quarter, 48, 112, a little bit slow for these type of horses. He got loose out there, put him to sleep, and just took him gate to wire.
We talked about it before the race, a race with just 2 speed horses. One horse made that lead, and watch him turning for home. Well, when he does turn for home, he's going to look over his outside shoulder. That's a sign he's got plenty of horse.
Got a ton of horse, and on the outside, Digital Age, he had a great trip, 3 wide coming into the stretch. He looked like a winner there until thread of blue hit the afterburners, and this is a big step up going from that mile in the pin mile to a mile and 3/16 today for a lot of money.
Usually when you see those red and white silks, the Klarovich stables coming at you from off the pace on a turf event for the Chad Brown Barn, that is a scary proposition. Not this time. Kieran McLaughlin, you saw right there, in a thread of blue, able to dig in and hang on.
And it's all about what happens out of the gate and making that lead. Yeah, the pace was solid, but as Gary will tell you, when you're going solid and you're not being pushed by another horse, you're alone on the lead, it's a very, very comfortable feeling for both rider and horse.
Let's check in with Acacia Courtney for more.
Thank you. I'm here with winning trainer Kieran McLaughlin. And Kieran, a thread of blue, wire to wire. What are you feeling right now to see this horse get the win?
It's just great that the owners were with me all the way, and we wanted to do this, and Louis rode a great race. He's a very nice horse. He just didn't ship well to Penn last time, and everything worked out like we thought it might, and it's just a great feeling to be here in the winner's circle in this type of race.
He was so tenacious. Kieran, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's head trackside with Maggie with winning rider Luis Saez.
Yes, Acacia in this Saratoga Derby Invitational. To think a thread of blue could go around there again. He is bouncing on his toes, Louis. Is that the dream trip you hoped for?
Yeah, everything came so perfect. You know, we was talking a couple of days ago with the trainer and everybody, and man, this track, you know, is pretty firm, so I know he's gonna be all right. Last races, we don't have lucky. There was raining and the track was soft, so that's why, you know, he was not the same. But today he was ready.
Louis making all the difference, picking up your 4th win on him. I think you two have a special rapport.
Yeah, thanks God, man. He run huge.
He truly did. Congratulations to a thread of blue and connections as we'll check in with Lafitte Pinkai.
Yeah, Maggie, for Luis Saez, a lot like he rode maximum security in the Kentucky Derby, except he didn't bother anybody on this afternoon. Gentlemen, how was Saez and a thread of blue able to steal this $1 million horse race?
Well, he's able to set a very slow pace. That quarter, keep in mind, the first quarter is down a straightaway. I mean, Digital Age ran great, a little bit out of his game, kept close to the pace, and the 6 breaking slow there, obviously.
Bumping and jostling with Eons and Kedar.
It didn't matter because nobody really gained any ground in this race, and that's because the Thread of Blue both ran very well and was able to control.
This is starting to become a theme here with Luis Saez. He did it last week in the Bowling Green on Channel Cat on the turf going long. Being on the front end is a weapon. It's just a weapon, and Luis Saez uses it very well.
Strong handling from Saez. You see a thread of blue responding in Digital Age, doing everything he possibly can, and he just can't reel in the front-running long shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Irad Ortiz gave him an exceptional ride because he sensed that there was going to be a slower pace, and instead of being in his usual position well back in the field, he was 4th or 5th early, and I think Irad made that first move. He realized they're not going to be closing in this race. I've got to get after Thread of Blue, and he tried, and he just came up short. But Irad Ortiz gave a great ride at Digital Age, considering the circumstances.
So, Greg, that's been the theme in this first-ever Turf Trinity. It's been chaos for the handicappers. Henley's Joy, 20-1 in the Belmont Derby, and now a Thread of Blue at 13-1 in the first Saratoga Derby.
Yeah, a little chaos again. And, guys, this was a carbon copy of what we saw on Kentucky Derby Day in the American Turf, but on that occasion, Digital Age did run down a Thread of Blue. Not this time.
No, not this time, because I think the pace was a little bit kinder for our front runner, a Thread of Blue. And when a horse does make a lead in a race like this, it kind of takes all the other riders out of their game. They know they have to position better against a lone speed horse, and it can take away from their late run.
Let's go to Acacia Courtney.
All right. Thank you. I'm here with winning owner now, Leonard Green, and you were just telling me how excited you are with such a big win.
I mean, we've had some big ones. We've been in the business for 30 years, but this is really, really a big one. And Karen did a wonderful job, and Saz did a wonderful job. I mean, again, on paper, it wasn't the best, but it was the best, which really makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Now, this series has been so exciting to follow. What does it mean to be part of it and get the win here in the second leg?
Well, again, the series is wonderful. For me, it's race by race. Okay, we've won 2,500 races. Each one of them is exciting, but this one happened to be very, very exciting kind of thing, especially when you're a long shot.
I see some great emotions here, Leonard. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for the
Greg?
Oh, what a moment. Leonard Green, Kieran McLaughlin, Luis Saez, and a Thread of Blue 13-1. And, yeah, Lafitte was right on it. The first 2 legs of this series, we have seen chaos here. 20-1 in the first leg, now 13-1 here in the Saratoga Derby.
Yeah, and this is just an unbelievable ride by Luis Saez. He's been on fire this whole year, and the roll just keeps on.
Tom, you called it. A lot of times we don't see the pace develop as we expect in these races, and credit to the aggressor here.
Oh, yeah. Look, it's tricky if there's only 1 or 2 speed horses in a race as to how a race will set up. And again, A Thread of Blue ran a great race on the front end, and just his courage got bigger and bigger as he was allowed to set that pace up front all by himself.
Yeah, and look, guys, I used to love when I was riding a speed horse that I liked, that was a big price, because if the fans are ignoring them, that means the other jockeys are ignoring them too, and it's easy to steal when they're ignoring you.
Third and final leg, that's September 7th in the Jockey Club Derby. We will see everyone on Fox Sports 2 on Wednesday, August 7th at 1 Eastern Time. A Thread of Blue got run down 2 starts ago by Digital Age on Kentucky Derby Day in the American Turf. This time, with the same jockey aboard, Luis Saez digs in and goes gate to wire for a victory in the middle jewel of the Turf Trinity.